Yes, good people, good morning, good afternoon, and a good evening. I wholeheartedly offer whatever suits your time zone. Welcome back to another Blue Money Show. Welcome back to the lineup exercise, lineup building exercise, not prediction precisely, for the 23-24 Chelsea best 11, given what players will have already. Plus, you can say the news, the Bayern Munich has joined. Has hired Thomas Tuchel as their new head coach. I hope you're all excited for today's show. More importantly, welcome to the Blue Morning Show. I hope you're all eating blue, sleeping blue, waking up blue, and overall living the blue life. Let's get into the show. Yes, people, let's get into it. Straight up, no waste of time. I hope you're all doing well. First today to say something is Santiago the Run Guns. Big up Kachila panel and chat. Big up to you too. Once more, I want to let my brother Lynn know I haven't forgotten about you. I will still send you a message, but more importantly, I haven't forgotten about you. I hope you're recovering very quickly. Thank you so much for always being part of this, the Chelsea Perspective family. Big up, Mr. Santiago. Big up to you too, Eugene. I hope you're doing well. I hope we can get Rafael Leao in the summer. I hope so. If it doesn't extend, which means it comes for cheap. Coach, big up. Red from right to left. I hope you're doing well, brother. Thank you so much. I understand that. And Eugene, thoughts on TT? Let's see. I don't care, to be honest. Only I know that Bali care just about a profit and future. Because if he likes Chelsea, Potter will be sacking Graham Potter a long time ago. A good argument right there. Owner without passion and soul for football. That's another way to see it. But they did. He did what the thought was right for the club, and it's looking like it's blowing up in their face right now. I hope that's not the case. I support my club. A big up to everyone. And the JC says, big up everyone. Can anyone guide me how the voting sites operate? I want to start a vote for Daniel Levy to appoint Ted Lasso as their manager. That's a delicious one. Yeah, just go. I think it's, what's it called again? If I remember, I'll tell you. They missed the train for TT. But wait, was he even bothered to look at Spurs? I think they've been linked with him for a long time ago. I even have a short video here on Chelsea Perspective saying Tottenham are considering hiring Thomas Tuchel at the end of the season should Antonio Conte leave. And I think Bayern probably moved fast, sensing that there's a chance, sensing that, what's his name? Sensing that Antonio Conte will most likely leave Tottenham, and yeah, there's a chance they hire Thomas Tuchel, so they want to pounce on him. And any other club, I think there are so many clubs. Probably you could argue that Thomas Tuchel will end up joining. There's a chance he joined Madrid at the end of the season if Ancelotti leaves his job. Interesting day at the Chelsea Perspective. I did wait. Yeah. Welcome, bro. Moko talk about TT to Bayern. Chai, KD if Megan Akoko. My mother. Yep, I appreciate that. I understand everything you wrote there. I prefer Pochettino for this moment. I think he is the guy. I think he fits. I think I've talked about that before. Poch fits this project very well. But Chelsea fans, again, how deep the rivalry goes. Some of them don't like him because he's coached Tottenham before. No way a discard from Spurs. Wow, get over this thought real quick, Eugene. I don't want to call ambulance. I know that's how Chelsea fans feel. But let's see over emotions, baby. That's my main concern for calling the ambulance. Yep. Emotions can be understood, but brains is a serious issue. Here's the thing, I don't think a lot of Chelsea fans will like that, but if he comes and start doing his job and things, start going in the right direction, I think everybody will support him. Poch is underrated, really. Football is not just a project. Football is something more. Also, football is not a rocket science, just a simple game. For viewers, it's just a simple game, but football has become even more complicated. Numbers come into play. Plus, managers have become inventive, starting new approach to the game, the start to all the managers and all that. It has advanced. Again, it is simple in the sense if you're watching. If all one does is watch, then it's that simple. Morning up the Chelsea. If Bally was smart, he would fire Potter and bring in Nagelsmann. We're going to talk about why that's a chance that happens. They have Christopher Vivell, who definitely knows Nagelsmann very well if they want him. I'd rather Poch. He's done well in the Premier League, did well in the Champions League. Just probably didn't have enough quality to win it when they had the opportunity, if that makes sense. If Spurs go for Nagelsmann, we're screwed. Yep, I think he'll be a good manager for them, for their current project. The beautiful game, Mike, bro, I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for finding the time to join in the show. Big up, Coach. Look on the bright side. If by some twist of fate, we get past Real Madrid, Tuchel will beat up Potter so badly, he will have no choice but to resign. So I'm thinking there. How about if I put it this way? There's a chance if we meet Real Madrid, if we beat Real Madrid and they overcome Manchester City and we meet, there's a chance he overthinks it because he wants revenge. I know he's better tactically, but has it occurred to you that there's a chance he overthinks it and makes it easier for Graham Potter? But I think it's going to be difficult beating them, really, because they've been together for a while. They're well drilled and all that. But I get where you're coming from. You never know. Let's see what happens. I still support my club. Oi, what's up to you two, Diggs? By the way, 7, or like that, I don't know should I say between 7. Football is not rocket science. It is more like quantum physics. Yep, it's not that simple. Florentino Perez owns with money, power, and soul and passion for club. You're talking to JC. They have a good conversation. As long as you guys don't fight, I'm okay with that. Play this scenario. Chelsea knock out Madrid and TT knocks out City. Then Chelsea face TT's Bayern in the semifinals. What a story. That would be some delicious event. It would be a summer, you can say, some interesting encounter, interesting matchup. I don't know how else you want to phrase it. What a story. My love for this game called football, it's like a movie. It's like a movie, better than all the movie series even the new ones that I've watched. It'd be interesting if that happens. But the truth is, if we overcome Real Madrid and they overcome Manchester City, of course, I think they will. If they do that and we do the same, then it'd be really interesting. Just give me 1 second. Let me share the link so that anybody that has time can join me on the panel. Yep, and thank you for 10 likes, people. We should be doing better than that. If you haven't, take a second, drop a like on the stream. And also do subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, the likes do go a long way. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And the Blue TV game says, did we not hear that Conte said about Spurs? He was not a lion. It doesn't matter which manager they get. They will always be Spurs. I'm not worried at all. But Conte, really, he's savage. He's savage. And I've looked at the situation and I'm thinking he just wants to be fired. Really. He really just wants to be fired. I think he knows he gets a lot of payoff. But I think the clubs will be probably reluctant to hire Conte as their next manager. He's not to be trusted. But that's, by the way, we'll move on from that. Let's go Coach, how nice it would be to have TT back at Stamford Bridge for a proper buy. I have no doubt fans will sing for him. They will, and chances are, if his team plays better, if we get to see that scenario, Chelsea fans will start booing our own our own players and be singing praises for his own team. Yeah, I really I don't know. It's not something we can avoid. If you say you don't want that to happen, which means you're simply saying you don't want us to make it to the semifinals of the Champions League. So it's a very difficult situation. So if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen, and we'll be there to see what happens. If that makes sense. Let's see what else we have here. I've read that one. Tottenham doesn't have that culture and passion. Players plays just for money. I say that again. Football is simple. It's a simple game. Yep, that's the way. Again, maybe you understand football that much that you think it's a simple game. But I get where you're coming from. We move on. Let's see. Just give me 1 second. Just give me 1 second here. I'm trying to share the links so that more people can join us here on the platform. So people, please keep liking the stream. I don't have to really. I don't have to put up a poll to remind you to like the stream. The likes do go a long way. And for those of you that are watching for one reason or the other, cannot participate in the chat, please, if you can, do us one more favor. Take a second, drop a like on the stream, and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. The likes do go a long way. Thank you so much for all your support. Sincerely do appreciate that. Let's see what else. Let's go into the topics we have here. This one here, it's an interesting one. It says Real Madrid are preparing to activate Erling Haaland's 240 million euros release clause when it becomes active in 2024. They are calling it Operation Haaland. That is some money being quoted there, and I'm shocked at how much that is. 240 million, and they're willing to pay that in 2024 to sign Erling Haaland. I probably did lose. They probably did lose. What's his name? The French international Karim Benzema then. But your thoughts on 240 million release clause? Do you think it's worth it? I think it's worth it, given how many goals he's able to get in a season and the type of player he is. But yeah, I wouldn't accept my club paying that much money for a player. Let's see what they do in 2024. Give me a second. I'm trying to take care of something here quickly. Yeah, this one right here. I will come back to you in a bit. Soon we will get back to the lineup building exercise. All right. We're getting there. So your thoughts on the Haaland money? Would you support Chelsea paying that much money for Haaland? I would say no, but you never know. The Bolly and Co can do anything they want. It's their business. Real Madrid are smart. They wait for 10 ratings quality players instead of throwing money. That's another way to see it. Let's see if there's someone who has 240. Yeah, it is Todd Bolly. So you never know. He may well decide to do that. Big up to you too, Martin. No, I hope you're doing well. So thank you so much, guys, for 13 likes. But we should be doing better than that. The likes, I should be measuring it, and it's something close to how many people we have watching right now. We have 28 people watching, and we should have at least 28 likes. And I don't have to put up polls all the time to try to get you to contribute. To me, this particular one from Chelsea Dodgers, to me, it's more like a suggestion. It says, Football London understands the center of midfield is high on the agenda for Chelsea at the end of the season, and conversations have been frequent behind the scenes with the club's new look transfer team. On one man who the club holds keen interest in is Alexis McAllister. Okay, of Brighton, the 24-year-old played a big part alongside Enzo Fernandez. So they're suggesting we go for him. That's another signing that won't come for cheap. So we've been linked with so many players. We've been linked with Alexis McAllister, Romeo Lavia, even Amado Onana. And there's also some other midfielders around the world that it's not going to be easy. I think we're just everywhere right now, and I don't think the club will be spending that much money in the summer. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to get your thoughts. Still don't think, even if we end up balancing the book, making it into the Champions League, the top four, or winning the Champions League, I honestly still do not think Chelsea will be spending that much money in the transfer market come the end of the season. It doesn't work that way. It really doesn't. But let's see what the club does. It's not up to me. If they feel like they can do that, they can do it. I prefer Mbappe instead of Haaland. Good choice there. But then Mbappe, I still think it's stay at PSG. They get him to sign a new contract. But let's see what happens. Please, guys, hit the like button, people. Yes, hit the like button. We're 12 likes. We should be doing better than that. We have 26 people watching. Let's get the likes up. The likes will help us get more people to join the show. Now, McAllister too defensive, not good for balance. If we want him in the middle, 7-8 rating, which is not bad. But I get where your argument is coming from. You think it's going to be you think it's too defensive to be signed. Well, it all comes down to what the manager wants. But let's see what the club does. Give me a second. I'm trying to share the links where more people can join the conversation. All right, we'll move on from that one. Let's see what JC has to say here. Appointing Thomas Tuchel has made Bali change his mind, and he is withdrawing his offer for Bayern Munich. Yeah, good luck. That would never happen in a zillion years, and I'm sure you know that quite well. Eugene, which DMs would you prefer? Manu Kone, I think he's been clamoring that for years. This one here, exclusive Todd Bowley, green lights of football for Ukraine to play an American-style all-star match at Chelsea. Co-owner Todd Bowley has provisionally agreed to allow football for Ukraine to play an American-style all-star match that would feature Chelsea's Mykhailo Mudryk and Arsenal's Zinchenko. So I think that's for charity mainly. That's some good news there to help people there who's found themselves in that situation, not one that anybody would wish on themselves. We already have several younger McAllisters and Carney, Santos and Gallagher. So there's a chance in the summer, that's some good argument there. There's a chance in the summer the club will not even be looking to sign players in those departments, if that makes sense. So I'm going to get your contributions. Anything you want to talk about? The DM, somebody raised the question. He asked which DM would you think? So if you want to answer that question from Yahayu, you say what DM you prefer and which one, why you want that particular DM. This one here is from one of our, with regards, again, talks about one of our favorite coaches who says, Bayern decided to act fast for Thomas Tuchel. He was an option for Tottenham and potentially Real Madrid. They did not want to miss out on their favorite candidate. Why Nagelsmann out? Internal issues, player situations in more detail. I think there's an article for that. If you can go check out his tweet, he provided a link there. If you go click through the link, you probably see what he calls more detail. Nagelsmann's start to life at Bayern wasn't perfect, but at one point he stabilized the ship and they started doing well. And look how far he's gotten them. But something wasn't really right. I'm not sure what it was. I hope things go well for Thomas Tuchel there, but not if we get to meet them in the semi-final stages of the Champions League. But that's, by the way, he's a manager I love so much. But yeah, it has happened. He's gone. And I knew he was never going to come back to Chelsea. We already have several young McAllisters in Carney and Santos and Gallagher. I think those players, if nurtured well, can come into their own and be good enough. But let's see what the club does. Nizar has been moving. He has been moving what? Sus, okay. Team play conscious all the time. He really shouldn't be making it an American thing. I think that was too specific there. Some people, I get where you're coming from. It's high time we buy a new number 6. So Enzo will play a number 8 or hybrid of 6 and 8, given the fact that he starts deep in the midfield. Here's the thing: there's an argument for Andreas Sanchez. I've seen him play, but I don't have a good understanding as to where he really fits in this team. We still have Kante. We still have other players. You could argue Casade could come back at the end of the season. He's doing well on loan at Brighton, and he's a fine player. Gets you goal outside the box, creates chances, and he's a good tackler. Santos also is a good tackler. So with the fact there's no clarity as to how those young players fit. There's a chance we're not going to sign any big name players for the midfield area. There's a chance that happens. I don't know. All we can do is just speculate what we think the club wants to do. But we're here to follow the story and see what they do. Yes, guys, 17 likes. We should be doing better than that. Let's get it to 100 as soon as possible. I shouldn't be putting up posts to remind you to like the video, please. The likes do go a long way. Zubimendi is like a shout. That's he plays in the Spanish league. What team in particular? Somebody has been mentioning his name, and I think he's a fine defensive-minded player, good tackles and all that. Plus, he can be creative. But my first choice is Ismail Benesha. The question is, yeah, I know he has a buyout clause. The question is, when is that clause going to be active? It is cheap, actually, 50 million euros. But the question is, after he renewed with AC Milan, but the question is, when is it going to be active? We don't know. Let's see what we have here. JC says, Coach, which CFC players potentially could now be sold to Bayern? I think the players he likes that much at Chelsea, they've all gone. I think they've all gone. Who else do we have there? Do I think maybe Kai? He likes Kai Havertz, so there's a chance Bayern will not come for Kai. That's if Chelsea would want to sell, and that is Kai would want to go back, if that makes sense. Manu Kone, modern DM, similar style of play like a Kamavinga. You can use him in multiple formations, in multiple jobs. I think he's a fine player. But Declan Rice, Declan Rice is a good shout. But offensively, I don't think he will offer too much. And here's the thing: I even watched the England game yesterday. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think if you gang up, opposition players gang up on a gang up with Declan Rice, he finds it difficult to progress the ball. That's my opinion of him. Except if he comes in and become just a traditional DM, don't do too much offensively. If there's no space, pass it backwards or sideways. But if the club wants him, who am I to blow against the wind? And the rumors are that the club wants a Declan Rice. Yes, people, keep dropping the likes on the stream. And also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. The likes do go a long way, please. Let me see. Maybe I need to put up the poll because the poll makes a huge difference. Just give me 1 second. I'll be back to you guys. Just to remind people to like. We're all humans. Sometimes it takes reminding people to do such before they do it. I'll be back with you in a bit. Just give me 1 second. One sec, people. 1 sec. Sorry about that. I need to do that so that we can get more likes. All right, thank you so much. Okay. Thank you so much. Let's keep going there. What do we have? The Bluetooth game says, wouldn't it have been easier for Bally to just buy Brighton and turn them into Chelsea instead of the other way around? I think it's just too much, really. I think it's too much, and I've thought about it. I think we got too much from them. Maybe just hire what's his name, ground, but to have him get some other people. Like usually, what Roman does, even when he fires managers, sometimes he keeps the manager's assistant to have some measure of, you can say, consistency, and that does go a long way. I know they left the guy, the set piece specialist, but That's not enough for me. And he's left right now. I think he's left. Correct me if I'm wrong. What's his name that came on the Frank Lampard to help with set piece? But I think it's gone right now. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's too much because when you bring in too many people from let's say an organization, too many people when they come in, chances are it will have an impact on the culture of the current of the organization that's hiring those people because there are just too many of them. From a footballing perspective, I think that means culture changes. If that makes sense. I talked about it. I think he shouldn't have come with all his backroom staff and all that. Wouldn't it have? Yeah. This argument here just brings that to mind. But that's by the way. We don't need a box to box. We have Kante, and I think Carney could play box to box too. I think we have too many box to box. Andre Sanchez, you could argue, is a box to box midfielder. It's Tuchel gonna repeat what he did with Chelsea at Bayern? That's a chance he does that. Yeah, there's a chance he does that. He knows how to beat what's his name? He knows how to beat Pep Guardiola. If he crosses the semi-final stage, chances are they're gonna win it. Of course, I would want us to beat them if we overcome Real Madrid. Good afternoon to all. Please, Opie Joy, good afternoon to you too. I hope you're doing well. I'm so happy for TT, but I don't want to be seeing Nagelsmann to Chelsea. We don't need those young coaches. We should learn from ABB's mistake. Okay, that's a solid argument, really. A cheap, what was he saying there? You're right with the Rice assessment. I like him, but he hinders or shies away under pressure. He might become a better with age, though. That's a chance that's the case. But if the club wants him, I still think he'd do a job. But he doesn't. To me, he's not your complete DM. There are much better all-rounded DMs available. But if the club wants him, so many factors. I think the reason the club may well want Rice is that he's a Chelsea Academy product. Plus, his English, that makes a difference too. He adds to the quota. Plus, he has experience and also can play as a centre back. For those reasons, I would take him. But I think we can do better than him. But if the manager thinks, whoever that's the manager come summer, thinks he's what we need, I'm all for it. There are fantastic players out there and affordable too. We cannot continue buying 100 million pounds players. Following the same argument, I'd say also I don't think the club will be spending too much on players, especially in the midfield area. I think we're loaded there. If the club are going to spend anything, big money, I think it'll be in the attacking area. If that makes sense. I think we're loaded in the midfield area. So, but let's see what the club does. TT is back again in a top notch. Pep will not be happy. He will not like that because that changes everything. And he knows you can't argue the squad Bayern has now. They are, you can say, much better than the squad Thomas Tuchel had when he won the Champions League with Chelsea. So let's see. So Pep will be really concerned. Yes, people, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. The likes do go a long way. We have 27 likes right now, but we should be doing better than that. So please keep liking the video and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And if you have anywhere where you can share the link so more people can join us, please do that. The more people we have here, the better the conversation and the more perspectives you have. So big up to you, Bobby. I appreciate you saying that, brother. I hope you're doing well. Let's see what we have. Anthony Barry, thank you so much, Tomitope, my bro. Adekunle Tomitope, my Niger brother. Yep, that's the name I was looking for. I think he left Chelsea for to join some crew of a country. I don't remember. But that's, by the way, I don't like the idea of buying too much young players. It has to be mixed up. I agree with you on that one. With just potential, it's better to spend 600 million for 4 or 5 players at class and young players. Because every year you have new talent. That's the truth. You have to mix it up. Experience does go a long way, no matter how you see it. Yeah, so I agree with you. Now we are in prison with this players. I think we can still balance it up and do well. I think teams are now taking advantage of Bali, who doesn't care about money. Now, I don't think they are. Things are balanced now. We need to spend that much to to balance the squad because we lost a lot of players, if we're paying attention, really. What else do we have here? I've seen enough of Carney. Hope we buy him. If you think it's that good, let the club do the due diligence. Chama said, good morning, Coachella, and everyone in the chat. Chama, good morning to you too. I hope you're doing well. Yes, we've reached 30 likes, so the poll does help. The poll reminds people to like the video, so please keep liking the video and also subscribe if you haven't. What else do we have here? Says, hope we go for Julian Nagelsmann. Isco philosophy. Do I think that will happen? We don't know. He's a young manager. There's a chance it happens. And the owners seem like they're interested in young managers. And we have Christophe Nkunku, who's worked in Germany and probably knows him very well. I think maybe that happens, but we don't know. Bittersweet news, indeed. This closes the chapter of Tuchel's association with Chelsea. That's it. It's as simple as that. It closes that chapter. We have to move on. If we get to play Bayern in the semifinals, yeah, he's our enemy. But I wouldn't be shocked to see Chelsea fans singing praises, show a banner, pull up a banner for him. That one exists already. Pull up that banner once more and boo our own players if we don't play well on the day. But yeah, it will be interesting. How the atmosphere will be crazy because I'm not quite too sure how the fans are going to react to that. Top club getting top manager. Bayern they will be cooking for the next 18 months at least. That's the truth. With Tuchel, he changes quite a lot, and probably they'll make a few signings for him. And they do spend money on players, but not too much. Though they do a lot of scouting work. They don't spend too much on players. But let's see what happens. I hope we overcome Bayern. We overcome Real Madrid and meet Bayern. Then he's my enemy, even though I love him. But beyond that, I will continue to support him. Kachila, I dreamt. Give me a second. Kachila, I dreamt about TT less than 2 weeks ago, and I asked in that chat, in the chat, if he was coming back. Someone in the chat told me that I can dream as much as I want, and he's not going to come back. Yeah, I don't think it was never going to happen. And yeah, a lot of people in the chat did say that, and I recall the day in question. And I've also told those saying they were asking the club to bring out Thomas Tuchel to just move on. It will never come back. But there will be lots of talks about Thomas Tuchel in the Chelsea community, within the Twitter sphere and all social media. That talk will resurrect again, and that hate for Graham Potter will be resurrected equally. People will be saying, "Look what we're missing," especially if Bayern beats Manchester City. The talk it will be everywhere, except if we meet them in the semifinals and beat them before people will shut up. But there will be lots of talk about Thomas Tuchel, how it was a mistake firing him, how it was a mistake hiring Graham Potter. Is that the truth? Yeah, it is the truth. No matter if you don't tell me the reason, and I don't see what sort of reason you bring to me. You tell me that again. What reason what excuse you give that was the reason why you fired him? Then I'd say that's okay. Again, that's me. But that's why the way we move on from that. The big risk is buying all these players with average Potter in charge. A lot of people are saying that. And the beautiful game once more again says, not a dream, Chama. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare, really. At this point, the Potter looks and feels like Mr. Bean. Tormenting Chelsea fans are stuck with him, and he's stuck on us too. It's as simple as that. I hope he turns things around. And that's because Chelsea is the entity I support. Managers come and go, players come and go. And if he does well, I'll be happier. And my club would do well. So I hope he does well. But again, I have my questions. Potter versus Tuchel in semis. I hope we get there. And if we get there, I'll support my team. I agree, Kachila. I'm tired of Tuchel. Let's move on from him. It's as simple as that. He's never going to come back. I read somewhere about firing GP. It was just 3-4 owners who wanted him out. It has to be unanimous decision to fire GP. Yep, that's what happens when you have a consultant. When one person isn't the owner, That's why when people argue, say fire Graham Potter, or fire what's his name, Todd Bowley, I said that's not possible. They have to vote, and again, it depends on what they have on the contract of the purchase of the club, or on the contract of the construct of the consortium, maybe, if that makes sense. So yeah, I don't think it's not going to be that simple. But let's see what happens. Coming back to coaching, not necessarily to Chelsea. Yeah, and now he's back. I knew he'd get the Bayern job or the Real Madrid job. Any update on Kante contract situation? What we've heard a week ago and what we've heard in recent days is that he's on the verge of signing a new contract. How soon? I seriously do not know, but I know it's going to happen. I think given that they've realized the importance of keeping experienced heads in the team, and the fact that they give what's his name, they give Cesar Azpilicueta a contract extension, shows that they understand the importance of keeping the experienced players. But in this case, not necessarily because of his playing ability, but that leadership, they want that. You see, they were hearing they will try to keep Mykhailo Kovacic as long as he wants to stay. If he's pushing to leave, and then they let him go. But if he wants to stay, they give him a new contract. Now they want to keep N'Golo Kante because experience is important. If those guys leave, if Kante leaves and Kovacic leaves, we're in serious trouble. Yeah, no matter how you see it, it will mean to get the team to start winning things and become playing as a unit will take even much more time for that to happen. So you need a bit of consistency. You need the transition to be seamless. It's always difficult to beat your former side. If Tuchel comes back to play against Chelsea, it will be a breakthrough for us. Like I said, again, the beautiful game did mention if he comes and smashes us, and I said to him, there's a chance he comes and overthinks it, and then makes it easier for us, if that makes sense. It is Chelsea versus Bayern, not Potter versus Tuchel, but it will be difficult to see it otherwise. I get where you're coming from. How much coaches spend time on tactics? Yes, then I get what you're saying, but it will be very difficult to see it as Chelsea versus Bayern. The name will be there. That will be the level it will carry. But what people will bear in mind is Tuchel versus Potter, no matter how you see it. But we're not there yet. We have a bridge to cross first, and they too do have a bridge to cross. Until that happens, let's cross that bridge when we get to it. Potter, apologies anonymous. Okay. Bowley is a founding member, so it's difficult to vote him out. But they could be a construct. Again, there's a chance the construct of the consortium could have something that says we can vote anybody out. That doesn't mean he's not the owner again. Maybe he will not have a say again. If that makes sense. The Bluetooth, big up to you, my bro, Glenn. I hope you're doing well, bro. Always nice to see you. Thank you so much for finding time to join in the show. Coach, tell me what scoreline in the Real Madrid or Bayern games would be enough to get Potter the sack. You have to give me a scoreline. Don't bottle it. I don't like you, man. I honestly do not like you. Here's the thing. I'm not a soothsayer. One, I don't have the 8 ball to look at it and give you. No, it's not until it's played. It's one game I cannot predict. Maybe not right now. Ask me maybe a few days before the game. Let's see how well we do in the games before that. And I don't like you, honestly. You're not a nice person. Thank you, people. If you're watching, if you haven't, take a second, drop a like on the stream. 35 likes. Let's keep it going. We can do better than that. Thank you so much for all your support. I appreciate that. Let's see what else do we have here. Just saying hello to and my bro, AD Love for Blue. Pep will report Bayern for sacking Marcus, man. Pep will revolt. Yep, I get that. The message is that he's not going to be happy because he has a much more difficult task dealing with Thomas Tuchel. Tuchel has a good record with him, especially with Chelsea. But let's see what happens. AD, big up to you. I hope you're doing well, my bro. We still have a project we're working on, but I'll get back to you where I need your help there. Finance Advisory Board reading the TT news, be like, yeah, I get it. What you said. Be like what you said there. Let's see what else we have. You're laughing at yourself there, and you know what you did. But that's by the way. Ancelotti character mean much more than his amazing tactics. You could say that character does come into play as a manager because tactics without character, you're not going to go anywhere. You need to have strong character to be able to deal with the egos of the players, the superstars you have in your team. So good point right there. You sound like you're a manager yourself. Coach, I don't need a prediction. Give me your score. I'm not going to do that. Now, I told you I don't like you already, and you're still asking me such questions. Stop doing that. Come back to me a few days before the game, then I'll give you I'll give you a definite answer, if that makes sense. TT usually likes the black and yellow color kit, very Dortmund team. He even adopted the CFC yellow kit. He seems to like his previous club. So will Bayern adopt blue now? No. That's never going to happen. I don't know. Since I've known them, it has always been the red, and I think red, white stripe on also for. Come on, respect yourself. No, my club is not losing. I believe my club can win that game. Until it is played, I'm not going to say this is what it's going to be. I think the project is getting live on the portal. Can we give them some trust, Chelsea fans? The question I want to ask you, since we're talking about Potter now, we will soon go into the lineup building exercise. How much time is enough time? Nobody has been able to give me a definite answer. In most cases, what I hear is that until the end of the season. Maybe that's a good answer, if that makes sense. Pick up Coach TT would do well or crash and burn. Let's see if this is truly, let's see if it's truly back. He's back. Here's the thing. I think he's had enough time, and he did himself some good by. He traveled quite a lot. At one point, he was in India. At one point, he was in South Africa. A lot of travel, which helps. And as Bobby will always say, he had some personal issues with his marriage and his children not being with him and all that, the divorce and all that. That can nearly kill a man. If you're not strong enough, that can kill you. So to survive that, he did a lot of traveling. He needed that. And he's in Germany, so he's at home. I think he would do well. But one thing with Bayern, if he doesn't do well, he gets the sack as soon as possible. And CFC, much love to you, brother. If you're still watching, if you haven't, share the link to your channel. And when I get there, let me talk about it so people can go check it out. And if you are part of the Chelsea Perspective community and you have a channel, whether it's a cooking channel or whatever channel, as long as it's a good thing, you can talk about it here so people can go check it out. Well, we're selfless here. That's why we're growing. And thank you for being part of the Chelsea Perspective community. Ancelotti eyebrow means, yeah, I get that. I am not stressed out about TT. I'm not really, but we just have to talk about him because he's part of us. Maybe after this, now we move on. And I really do need us to meet Bayern in the semifinals. After that, I think that's a closure for all parties involved. I get it. If he beats the heck out of us, it would take time for us to move on. But if we beat him, then we'll move on quickly. And I would love us to beat him. I know it's not going to be easy. And hopefully, if we get there, he overthinks it and we'll end up beating him. We have the best coach, and the best owners. Let's see what happens. What else do we have here? You ask him. I would like to see, and that's Morton. Christophe Morton says, I would like to see our club play more youth players like Fofana or Broja. I guess Broja, then buy 150 million to Simhem. In the attacking area, I want to send to Broja is actually a complete striker. He's not just a stereotypical striker. Same as Fofana, he's gifted, but they need a chance. I get it. If the loss to TT means the Potter is sacked, I am beginning to have a second thought of bring Lamb to the slaughterhouse. Wow. Coach Glenn's account has been hacked. No, I don't think so. Glenn has a concern, but Glenn likes to be objective. Glenn has concern with our current situation, but he likes to be as subjective as possible, if that makes sense. So, yeah, but I get where you're coming from. 2010 Champions League quarterfinals, Mourinho took Inter Milan and defeated Chelsea under Ancelotti. So, isn't it a big deal if Tuchel eliminate Chelsea at the semifinals against Bayern? It's a big deal, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think any team that beats Chelsea in the semifinals usually goes ahead to win it. Correct me if something else has happened. It has happened so much that even Samuel Eto'o told his Inter Milan teammates, if we beat Chelsea, we're winning this trophy. Correct me if I'm wrong. Were we looking past Madrid? No, but we have to. But let's just have a conversation. We're already looking past Madrid. Like I said a few minutes ago, we have a bridge to cross, and when we cross that bridge, then yeah, we'll talk about that. And maybe I've seen the light. Maybe you have. Glenn, no, step away from the light. I definitely rather see Dacho Fofana and Broya play than Osimhen. Let's see what the club does. That's, by the way, Bobby, coming to you, bro. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much. I know you're a very busy man, but I appreciate you always finding the time to participate on the panel. Bobby, your thoughts on the Tuchel news and the chances of us meeting them in the semifinals of the Champions League. If that happens, what do you make of the whole thing if you're there? If not, I'll continue having the conversation with those in the chat and see if there's any other topic to talk about there. If not, we move on.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Pleasure.
I always love coming on your stream, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're brothers already.
And, we are, brother. And the mic is a bit low.
Oh, is it? Oh.
Mm-hmm. But go ahead. I think I can hear you. I think they can still hear you.
Wait just a minute. Let me see what I can do about this. But yeah, I always love to hop on whenever I can. Listen, first of all, Nagelsmann. I've noticed the usual low intelligence complainers hitting Twitter with all they can do is find some BS to bring up about our owners and that's it. They don't have any thought process other than attacking the club. If you don't attack the club, you attack the owners. Look, what happened at Bayern should be an eye-opener or a lesson or a reference point to Chelsea's fans that these things happen. They unceremoniously, please excuse me, sorry, they have unceremoniously sacked Nagelsmann. In fact, to add more insult to it, they haven't even told him in person. It's all on social media first. Now, sorry, I've been working, so I'm running around. So this happens at top clubs. But we moan and whinge and cry. Bayern have got rid of loads of managers. Maybe not as unceremoniously, but something must have happened at that point to sour the taste of the relationship between Nagelsmann and the board. It doesn't have to be anybody's fault. It's most likely is. But these things happen. So for those Chelsea fans that keep going on about how badly Tuchel was treated and, he shouldn't have been sacked and so on. My message is, as yesterday, you don't know the full reasons. So just be calm. Just wait and see. We know that we have concerns about Potter, but let's wait and hope a bit because we have no choice anyway. He's going to be manager till at least the end of the season. And there has been, albeit marginal, there has been improvements. Now, will Tuchel be a success at Bayern? I think he will. I think he has. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm just listening.
I think he has all the skills. He's a master tactician. But I think if his history is anything to go by, Tuchel does better with less talented teams. He struggled with the talent at PSG. Bayern is overloaded with A grade players. Their bench is full of them. And they probably would have done better with someone like Ancelotti or indeed Zidane, who knows and makes their trade of playing with all a team full of stars. I think Tuchel will struggle with them. He'll start off well, but I think he'll struggle with them. There will be issues with those on the bench. Sadio Mane, Serge Gnabry may not take too kindly to sitting on the bench for too long. That may have been part of Nagelsmann's problem. I don't know. Now, if he looks to recruit in the summer and get rid of players, he'll end up with a situation like he had in the summer, last summer at Chelsea. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does with them. I think they're a bit too star-studded for him. Definitely in the short term, he'll do well. Long term, I don't know. But, nothing's ever cast in stone. Now, if we meet Bayern, which would be, nice to get to the semi-final.
Yeah, that's what I want to hear about you.
Yeah,
From you, so to
it'd
speak.
be good. It'll be almost a miracle for us to get there at all, not to mention meeting Bayern. But if we do, of course, I would want us to beat them, of course. And I think we can. If we beat Real Madrid, it would mean that we put in a performance to show that we are worthy of being in the semi-final. Tuchel is a master tactician. He has a lot of advantages. He has the empathy of the Chelsea fans as our second Champions League winner, and indeed our first World Club Cup winner. And, the fans loved him. Banner, everything as you've mentioned, the fans loved him. Now, he knows a lot of the players as well, although many have gone since his time, but at least he managed some of the players that he'll be coming up against. The interesting thing would be Tuchel is a confident man. He's a fearless man. He's an excellent coach. But there would always be that little bit of doubt in his mind, because as much as he knows the players kind of know him, and Potter has beaten him, or I think they drew or something. I'm sure Potter has beaten him, and
Was it?
they
No.
drew. Was it at the bridge 2-2, something like that? He
I don't
always
remember the
struggled
result.
to
Yeah.
beat Graham Potter teams. Although, that was because, he was always like post Champions League games, which is what these mid-table teams thrive on. And of course, with the ever-present injuries that we always had to carry. But there will be some doubts there. It's very close to home at a very short period of time. Of course, he'll be determined to make his point, but sometimes that can backfire. So it's an interesting
If he
scenario.
overthinks it,
Yeah, he's not an overthinker, that sort of Pep. But if he, the thing about uh, uh, Tuchel, the only time I've ever seen him look clueless on the bench was when we had that away defeat against Salzburg. Is it Salzburg? I think it's Salzburg that beat us 1-0 in the Champions League. Other than that, usually when he's beaten is when he's too flustered, shall I say. He can be flustered by a team and forced into making errors. And a lot of what could defeat him against a team like Chelsea would be the number of stars he has in his side. Tuchel likes players that really kind of worship him and will die for him on the pitch. Whereas I would imagine some of those Bayern players who knew life before him, won things before him, may take a little bit of time to actually worship him in the way he needs. I don't know. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate for both sides, because I know the usual Chelsea negative brigade will come in. Oh, we're playing too cool. Oh, doomsday and that sort of thing. And I like to neutralize that and keep our head up, because the way we win is through bravery. And he taught us that anyway. So it'll be interesting. It's good he's back. I'm sad
It'd
he's
be
not back
interesting.
with us.
How about the behavior of the fans on the day? What do you think happens? Do you think they pull up his banner, try to show him some love?
Yeah.
Like,
Now,
do you
I'm
think
not
that will
sh-
happen?
I'm not sure they'll pull up his banner, because that might be too much. And what message would that send to our players? But he will have an applause, certainly in the beginning, possibly at the end, especially if we beat them. Yeah.
Hmm.
He will be applauded, because, he is a very successful guy. But on match day ends there. Jose Mourinho came to Chelsea after incredible success. But on match day, the love ended. And Jose was somebody that sees to it that the love ends, because he starts taunting his own fans. And of course, they turn on him. So I'm not sure Tuchel will be quite the same. But Tuchel is another kind of high octane, fiery guy. And he does have a point to prove. And whatever happened between him and the board, it hurt him. He was hurt to leave Chelsea, very, very hurt. So he will have a point to prove. And that will be where the marriage breaks. Because ultimately, to the Chelsea fan, and I'm talking the real Chelsea fan, nothing is greater than the club. And if you come to hurt our club, you're the enemy. So the divorce will take place in that game, especially at the bridge.
Yeah, whatever happens, I think that's when everybody moves on.
Yeah,
If we beat him, we move on very quickly. If he beats us, the movement is gonna be easy, because people will say, you can say start the Potter out campaign. It depends on how we were beaten, but there's no telling what will happen. We have a chance. They have a chance. That's why we're in the quarterfinals. Um,
I always
Dave,
say, Coach,
yeah, go
the
ahead.
Chelsea stay fit. We have a fit
Mhm.
squad. We can beat anybody.
Yeah, never say never. If you're watching people, 49 likes, let's get the likes up and get it to 100 as soon as possible. They would have told him in person, but he went down the slope, and the Bayern bought Ken Noski. Yep, I get that. But thank you for that. Bobby, okay, drink something. He said, you think Bobby has a code? He says, drink something for that code. You will get the full detail on Fabrizio's main channel. Good morning to you too, Lupol. Thank you so much for finding the time to join us today. I hope you're doing well. Let's see what we have here. Bobby, fans were not sorry for TT when CFC sacked him. They were sorry for CFC. There was no doubt that TT would get another job. Nobody ever doubted that. The sad issue
Yeah.
was a CFC itself.
Can I
Let's see.
respond to that? Because I think that's such a valid point.
Mhm.
I think there was an element of sadness from fans for TT when they saw his demeanor after he left and the things he said. He sent such a passionate goodbye message. But we're Chelsea fans. Chelsea is the issue, and anything that is detrimental to the club is going to hurt the fans. So, of course, the fans were sorry for the club for losing what was undeniably one of the greatest and definitely the elite managers in world football. In world
Mhm.
football. So, let's see. Can Potter be that? Let's hope so. There's all this talk of Nagelsmann coming to Chelsea. I don't really have an opinion on that, because I think
I
part of
don't
the
either.
reason, he was kicked out of Bayern was that he struggled in the league. Well, he's not winning it as easily as he should. So I don't know what that's about, to be honest. And
And plus, mainly issues with the board.
yeah, I don't know. I really don't. I don't think I know Nagelsmann enough. And how old is he? 33. He's a very, very young guy, isn't he?
He's a very young manager, but he started very
Practically
early.
he's younger than Lampard was. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. So,
Yeah, but I'm thinking. My theory is that if the club, but I think Potter stays at the end of the season. I still think so. If the club asks, what's his name, Christopher Vivell, his thought, I think it's suggested. I think so. I don't know. That's my theory. Bobby, again, thank you for we talked about that. Bobby, what is the higher probability TT struggling with the stars or Potter struggling with stars? But I get your argument there. Let's move on from there. Always given, well, we're all entitled to our opinion, but I get where you're coming from, Luke Paul, always given a biased take. Tuchel won the UEFA Champions League with us in 4 months. This time, he only has to play 5 games to win it again. All better off Bayern champions. I remember you said that, but let's see what happens. TT rebuild Rudiger's career. Do you really think TT is scared of current CFC players? I think the team has actually changed much. I think it's no. What we have now isn't the team he built. If you're looking at the starters, also, I think it has changed. You can't say that that's his team anymore. If we manage to get past Madrid, Bayern is definitely where our road ends. There's no getting past Tuchel. Okay, if that's how you, but remember you said that this video is there. That's a stretch, bro. Let's see what happens. We're not getting past Madrid. Wow. Okay, no coach is perfect. TT has his flaws, but he is a very good coach. No manager is perfect. That's one thing I agree with you there. Where did I stop? Do we have that many comments in the chat? I hope we don't, because I really want us to get into the lineup building exercise. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. 6 likes to get it to 60. Let's get it to 70, 80, 90, and 100 likes. We haven't done that consistently since the transfer window shut, but we can. Please keep dropping the likes on the stream, and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Bobby, you definitely had a different breakfast to what Roger had yesterday, mate. I've lost you somewhere. Okay, we're having a conversation here, and that's the fun part of it. We're getting past. Let's see what happened. He couldn't beat Madrid with Chelsea. Let's see if he can win with Bayern. Wow, I'm excited for TT. Okay, let's see what happens there. We're getting past Madrid. Okay. Even coach is unusually quiet. Here's the thing. Before we meet TT, we have to get past Bayern first, get Real Madrid first, and they have to get past Manchester City. So that those two things have they have. Let's see if they happen. Let's see. Then we'll talk about that. I wish I had that energy. Panda, did I miss Panda? How are you doing? A ball never won a Tuchel from the beginning. That's the truth. Bobby, here's the thing with TT. The fans love didn't end. It was interrupted, and that's a take which still lingers in many fans. A lot of fans still like him, but at some point they'd have to move on. It's as simple as that. A lot of fans, it took him time to move on from Jose Mourinho, but they've done that. Even Antonio Conte, it took some fans time, but I moved on the day we played the way we played. From Antonio Conte, the day we played the way we played against Manchester City, I will never forget that. As in any divorce, we would lose half of our. I get it. Not if. Okay, I'm going to move on from that. Bayern only hired TT for 1 season. It's to beat City. Bayern without a manager could beat the rest. Let's be honest, TT has Pep numbers. Bayern wants the Champions League. That may well be the reason. That's how big teams think. Swapping out one project manager for another isn't what I want. To be honest, I think it's going to be problematic. Chances are all the players we sign are not the sort of players that Nagelsmann walks with. If people are calling for us to hire him, I am turned with this striker situation. Want to see him, but Breuer is my guy. Imagine the speed we would. Will have up top with him and Mudryk. Plus, Dacho Fofana, I hope we'll keep him. I don't understand the rate. We are writing off Real Madrid already. We're not. We're not, because we know, I think we're just speaking in hindsight. We know there's that possibility that we beat them. Never say never. The game has not been played. So you can't tell me already we're done, we're beaten. No, it doesn't work like that. We can still beat them until it's happened. Even if our team is as bad as the bottom table team in the Premier League, if the game hasn't been played, there's a chance we could. If that makes sense. But despite the way, I get where you're coming from. He says, I do like, and Eugene, by the way, I hope you're doing well. I do like the face-off between Chelsea and Bayern Munich. If that happens, these two teams might not make it to the semifinals. Please just calm down. Okay, is it? I do. Yeah, you said I do. Okay, let's see. Bayern's logic. If TT beats City with Chelsea, he can do it again with this Bayern team. I think he can. The only midfielder I want now is Carney. Just get it done. Okay, let's keep O'Neal Diaz. Let's keep the conversation aligned, please. So if I keep going back and forth, I'll tire out by the time we get halfway into the show. I promise that guy is going to cook here. Let's see what happens. Coach, just a suggestion now that Thomas Tuchel is going to Bayern Munich. I think we should loan Graham Potter to our female team and hire Emma Hayes. Okay, yes, then it's never going to happen, but I know you're joking anyway. It's not going to happen. But that's by the way. Let's see what we have here. Hell no, I'm not moving on TT fan till I die. Moving on doesn't mean you're not going to be watching his team or support him. Moving on, Indy says stop talking about what happened to Chelsea and all that and support the current manager we have. Madrid will sack Ancelotti if he doesn't win the Champions League. Imagine having those standards. Yeah, no one in their right mind would choose Potter over Tuchel, no matter what scenario. The fact that Bally did, like I said, in their right mind, yeah. I get where you're coming from. I wouldn't either, but he's here, and we can change that right now. Don't expect Broya to come back with full speed for at least 2 years after the ACL. He will need years to rebuild that strength, and that is usually not guaranteed. And that's remember ours. Yep, that's some concern. But out of 3 meters GP versus Ancelotti, Graham Potter came out 2 losses and 1 draw, and no wins against Ancelotti. So that's another record to bear in mind before paying attention to record. So I understand where you're coming from. In our last 4 games, we've beaten Madrid twice. Let's not. Okay, you're having a conversation with someone there. We are gonna beat Real Madrid. They end that tough. An opponent, Bayern and Napoli. Okay, let's see. We are not dealing with any other coach now. We're totally confident in Julian. We are totally confident in Julian. Bayern CEO Oliver Kahn told Sky Sports on Sunday. That was on Sunday, right? Someone just needs to ask Bolly to see what he says. Here's the thing. This sort of scenario or situation was why I said Bolly coming out and saying they're still in support of Graham Potter. That's no guarantee that he stays at 20 time, but the expectation is that he stays till at least the end of the season. There's a chance also he stays beyond that. So, but that's not guarantee that in a few days' time you don't hear that he's been sacked. After all, nobody knew Thomas Tuchel was going to lose his job. Coach, fans from America will probably know a player from my country. Okay, who? Porzingis. It has taken him 3 years to rebuild from ACL, and still never the same. Wow. ACL is again any long-term injury. Actually, Real Madrid fans critique players after every draw or loss. Here is different. If you critique players, you are not Chelsea fans. I get that, but just you don't have to add the other part of it. Bally's response, shit. I just said it. Yeah, but that's why you should be careful spelling it fully. Yeah, I get it. SHIT, yeah, and whatever game you call it. Yes, people, we're at 58 likes. Let's get the likes up. And also, please do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. The likes will go along with. Coach, I guarantee if Bolly had time machine, he may still have sacked Tuchel, but he would have not hired Potter. The man is stubborn. Yep. Which means again, he'd realize maybe he'd look at it and say, okay, hiring Potter was a mistake. Let's go for another manager if we can rewind. But I understand where you're coming from. Chelsea all the way says, big up Coach in the chat. Big up to you too, brother. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for finding the time to join in the show. Let's move on from that. I think we'll have to get into the lineup building exercise as soon as possible. And I still don't think we'll be able to finish that today. What else do we have here? Alexis McAllister, I'm not sure. Erling Haaland, I know Bobby. As long as that player is good, I think Bobby would suggest we'll go get him. Bobby, what do you make of this? That Erling Haaland, he has a 240 million euros buyout clause on his contract, and Real Madrid are looking to get him once the clause is active in 2024. What do you think? Do you think we should go for him?
200 and what? 250,
40 million
40
euros.
million, and this doesn't include wages.
Yeah.
2024 in football terms is a long time and two transfer windows. So anything can happen within that period of time. We could end up getting the striker, we need. We may
Mm.
spend, although they're saying Osimhen is 150 million, which I don't think we're likely to do that deal, not for that price. But we could
And it's not going to
suddenly,
be cheaper. You know why? Because they paid 80 million for him.
yeah, and I know they will try and dig their heels in, as the Haaland thing with
Hmm.
Man City. We may find another striker that will be workable for us. I don't know, but I think time will tell. 240 million minus the excessive wages that he earns seems ridiculous money at this current point in time. Who knows what the future will hold in the football transfer market? One disadvantage we have, even though, if Madrid are interested in meeting that price, will be the fact that, having played for Man City, going to another Premier League rival, City will be reluctant to do that. But is Real Madrid interested in spending that much money on him? I have my doubts. I have my doubts. They will probably be more inclined to go for Osimhen if they really want to look for a replacement for Benzema than Haaland at this sort of price. I don't know. I don't know, but it's interesting. But I can imagine come 2024, because his buyout clause can be released, there will be suitors. I mean, who knows? Man United's new owners, I think they have deep pockets. That's a club that brings in good revenue.
Hmm.
They might want him. There's no Newcastle, especially if they get Champions League football, their owners might want him, and they can bring in good revenue. So he,
They can sign him as a statement signing.
yeah, so and they would could pay the wages as well. So it's a very much wait and see situation. It'll be down to, would he want to play for another Premier League rival?
Mm.
Guess money
Uh,
talks, doesn't it?
yeah, money talks, and that's a lot of money, really. And for them to have such a buyer clause in his contract, I think they want to keep him beyond that. And I don't see Real Madrid triggering that. That's a lot of money, which means
It
if they
is a lot,
sign
but
him, they'd have problems spending in other areas. They may have issues.
Madrid has spent silly money before, haven't they? This
They
is
have,
just
yeah.
inflation of the football market. So I would never say never until the time is upon us. If,
But when
for
you say
example,
when you say City will try to keep him, they have the money to keep him.
yeah, they have the money to keep him, but if somebody releases the buyout clause and he's free to speak, it becomes another matter. Of course, they and it becomes another matter. I mean, they are in a very, very strong place. His father played for them. He has no real reason to leave. But these people have these
Wait,
illusions
his father
about Real
played
Madrid.
for what club?
Man City. His father
I
was
didn't know that.
Erling Haaland. Yeah, he was a City player. That's one of the reasons he went there. He was, he used to watch City as a child, to watch his father. So he has history with them.
Mm.
Uh, but that's just how it is. I think we'll have to wait and see when the time comes, but it's not a very likely deal to happen.
Hmm. Yeah, let's see what happens. Thank you so much, Bobby. I didn't know his father played for the club. So right now, I'm going to try and catch up with what we have in the chat. We go into the lineup building exercise. We'll have a lot of work. There's a chance we're still not going to be able to finish it today because we do analyze the possibility of each player starting in a certain position before we plug them in. We don't just dump players in there. And those in the chat are also part of the conversation, so that makes it even more difficult. So I'm going to get the random responses there in the chat. I'm sure a lot of them are random. Enzo Fernandez wants a Bali to sign Alexis McAllister. Let's see if that happens. Just a message, having coach. They are aware I made you say the word. Oh, that's fine. So you're taking responsibility. I like you. You're not like the Bluetooth again. You're a good brother. So I take that. Let's see what we have here. Bali has too much pride and got to admit Porter was a mistake. Would you come out and say it was a mistake, except if you already fired him? 240 million is insane. It's crazy. Haaland at 240. Lemons is much more better than Osimhen at 150. Okay, big up Kachula. Sorry, I'm late, but happy to be here. Bless up to you too, brother. Gunshots to you. Much love. The good thing is that you're here. Litness is greatness to say. Always nice to see you. I hope everything is all right. It's not an obligation, but I know you enjoy being part of the conversation. If Osimhen is worth 150, then Mbappe is worth 2 billion. Okay, if that's how you see it. I've shared the link for the membership. Okay, that's not the one, but I have one pinned. So you can become a member. If you want to become a member, I said become a channel member. So many benefits to it. And we're starting some shows soon. There's going to be membership only show. I've put up a vote there, and a lot of people want that. But that doesn't mean we still value everyone else, and we still get to enjoy the Blue Morning Show and the evening shows once we start again. Tuchel wants a Kovacic at, let's see what happens. When is Operation Fire Potter? I don't know. You cannot play for Real Madrid if you are not player for Real Madrid. They are smart and save money. Okay. The context is Haaland cost 2.5 times what Lukaku cost us. Almost seems worth it. Oh, yeah. Given how well he's playing, how many goals he's getting, how many hat tricks. He gets 10 hat tricks per game. You know what I mean by putting it that way, if that makes sense. Real Madrid will sign Haaland as that is his dream club. Okay, let's see. Vinicius, Haaland, and Mbappe for free in 2025. Endrick and Rodrigo. Who for free? Okay, Mbappe for free, yeah. But let's see what they do. Real Madrid, Real make a lot of money with Ronaldo, during Ronaldo's era, and 3 UEFA Champions Leagues in a row. More fans in the world. I think that makes sense. Madrid bought Ronaldo for 90 million and sold him for 100 million after how many years? You'd say they didn't make that much money. They made money because he won a lot for them, maybe. So I get it. Haaland is worth every beat of that 250 million. Osimhen is not 150 million, just as Lukaku wasn't worth 100 million. Some argument. It's been years. It's been a year where record and cliches get broken. So don't call me mad, but City might win the Champions League. And if they win the Champions League, then they're not going to win the league. But if they start doing well in the league again, then they're not going to win the Champions League. That's how I see it. The Potter out noise seems to have dipped down. Have fans finally made peace with the enigma at the helm? No. 3 wins in a row is enough to die down things a bit. But even during that period, a lot of people were still complaining. And from my bro, Bobby Fevy, he says, what's the feeling on Felix? Unless we think our FFP base allows us to have 80 million players coming off the bench, do we need Felix, Nkunku, and Havertz to support a new striker? I think Felix, I think they want to keep him, and I wouldn't say we need them, but with Nkunku, Kai Havertz, with Noni Madueke, with Mykhailo Mudryk also, it's difficult to say really. But I think if the club wants to keep him, it just doesn't make sense. I'm still arguing. I'm not sure how many players we're going to sign. Bobby did say something the other day with regards to us getting new sponsors, and they pay a lot of money. but they don't pay in the bulk. The money they pay comes bit by bit. Maybe it will also help balance the books. Maybe there's a chance we could still spend quite a lot of money in the summer. But let's see what happens there. I'm really not sure. If we keep him, it would be good. We need depth. If we have depth where some games Felix gets to sit on the bench or some games Nkunku is the one on the bench, I'd take it, which means we're strong. But I get where you're coming from. Let's see what we have here. Why am I catching random stray bullets from Coach? Why? Because I don't like you. You know that. Big up, people. Thank you so much for 62 likes. But I know we can do better than that. If you haven't, please take a second, drop a like on the stream, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I'm trying the best I can to catch up with the chat so that we can go into the lineup building exercise. That's the nitty-gritty, as Unisex will say. Why? Yeah, because I don't like you. Let me see what we have here. Just minding his business suddenly. Here is the same. Yeah, here is his name. Let's see what we have here. Why everybody think that Chelsea will buy new striker instead of new forward? We don't know. Let's see what happens. There's a chance we'll be linked to Osimhen. There's a chance it happens. Let's see. Bobby again says if Mount or Havertz had 2 goals in 10 games, they'd be quartered and drawn. Also, add a crazy red card and a goal conceded from a naive play. Why is this a level of output okay? You could argue he still needs time. How many games in total has he played for us? And he hasn't been that bad, really. But I get where you're coming from. The selective criticism from the fan base, yeah, because they just want the club to sign him now. Until the club pays the money and signs him on a permanent, that's probably the jury will be out for him. Maybe that's a better way to phrase it, if that makes sense. But yeah, we move on from that one. This says Bayern Munich are really ready to buy Edouard Mendy and Mateo Kovacic's absolute Chelsea. That doesn't make sense. That's how many minutes after the news that Thomas Tuchel is taking over at Bayern. I'm not going to talk about that, really. You wanted to say something, Bobby?
It's garbage.
Yeah, I don't believe that. It's absolute nonsense. Absolute Chelsea, you can say they're absolute nonsense. Yeah. This one here. Yeah, go ahead if you wanted to add something, Bobby.
They don't even have a need for them at all.
They don't. Yeah.
It's garbage.
Yep. The Prince is here. Big up to you, the Prince. A big up family. Big up Kuchila. I'm very happy to join program today. Please like the stream. 62 likes. Come on, people. Let's get it to 100 as soon as possible. We can do that. If you haven't, take a second, drop a like on the stream and subscribe. Who said the Porter out has died? It hasn't really. It died down a bit. It was dialed. Let me use the term dialed down a bit. And it was still there. It was still. People were just enjoying the 3 wins in a row and hoping we get a fourth, if that makes sense. Felix's marketing team, kids love him. Baller here, just about profit. Don't get me wrong, Felix is a baller, but we don't need him. We already spent 600 million, and I don't think we'll be spending that much money. So good observation right there. That aligns with Bobby Fairview's question. Do we really need them to be spending that much money in the summer? That's a question the board will answer. Good news, people. Mudryk will finally play at the Ukraine charity event. But that's again, though. Felix for 18 million isn't that bad, considering the inflation. Okay, let's see. Nagelsmann lost just 2 games in 6 months at UEFA Champions League. He won 7 and drew 1. Unbeaten, still gets the sack. And can we say TT is an upgrade? Yeah, of course. Can we also say Potter is an upgrade on TT henceforth? No, he's not, until proven otherwise, if that makes sense. But I really want to move on from that. I love the shot of videos of Osimhen and Tammy chilling together in Rome, 2 Nigerian brothers. Yep, I like them both. I wish Tammy had chosen to play for Nigeria. I think he'd be thinking the same right now. But I take Osimhen over him. Too much emotions for Felix. I don't like that way of thinking. you don't just let them express themselves. Football is unpredictable. Everything can happen. So I agree with that one. Let me see. I'm guessing this is a bullet from the beautiful game against me. He says, Coach, if you really want to get into heaven, you have to love your fellow brothers. For your information, the pin code for heaven. I disagree with you. I don't have the pin yet. You only get the pin, when the fat lady sings. I don't know how else to phrase it. Chelsea Dodgers at Twitter seems to be fanning the flame of Nagelsmann replacing Graham Potter. I'm not sure where he stands. Rahayu, are we following each other on Twitter? And by the way, guys, you guys know we have we are on this. We have a Discord server. How do I share the links now and not shut down? Yeah, we have a Discord server and not shut down and not get my system messing up. But let's see. I'm going to give it a shot anyway to see if I can share the link. That's by the way. I don't know. I thought he was spotted in. I'm not sure where he stands. I will pick a Simham ahead of Haaland any day of your joy. Okay, can you give us any reasons? It looks like I've made that mistake I've been trying to avoid to make, but okay, it's not frozen again. It works again. Let's see what else we have here. Absolute nonsense. But you guys believe the Haaland news and the price tag of 250 million? You cannot pick and choose. No, I have every right to pick and choose. If you want to believe them all, yeah, you go ahead. If that makes sense. So I'm not. Yeah, I have every right to pick and choose. You have every right not to pick and choose. I don't trust everything they put out. That's just how I want to put it. I like them, but I think the talk already 2 minutes after even Graham Potter, what's his name, Thomas Tuchel, has he been officially been announced? And they're saying that no. It sounds like clickbait to me, if that makes sense. I know Mendy will leave. I know the Zinchenko versus leave. But yeah, that doesn't mean he joins those guys. I don't think Potter can take us to glory, to the glory land, because he's so comfortable in the 10th position that he isn't our identity. What Chelsea? Okay, I think I understand that. Good afternoon, guys. Chatting from Kenya. Please, guys, like the video. Henry, Alex, nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much, guys. Keep liking the stream. Let's get it to 70, 80, 90, and 100 likes as soon as possible. Thank you for all your support. I don't want Man City to win the Champions League now, else we become mates. I hope we luckily get that one. Yeah, I'd rather them win the league and not Arsenal. Yeah, yeah. But let's see what happens. The truth is they're going to win either of the two. Haaland is 10 rating. He's what every money. More trophies, more fans, more profit. That makes sense. Winning brings you profit, if that makes sense. Let's see. Pulisic has said he's not being used in his right position by Potter. Chelsea Chronicle. I think I saw that one. What position did they say is this preferred position? Actually, is it 10? Because we did look at this. I think it was last year. We did look at the statistic that showed. He's played more in a number 10 position than he's played on the flanks, really. Yeah, but let's see. I want to get your thoughts on that one. Let's see. Big up, Bobby. Whenever I tag you, my message disappears, bro. So what's happening? You guys should figure it out. Despite best efforts to slander TT, it looks like a Bayern understand what matters. They do. Man United was Joao Felix's other. Yeah, they wanted them too. So I don't know. Talent fits in Madrid, and plus, it looks like they're gonna let what's his name? They're gonna let the French international go at the end of the season. I'm not sure. People don't want Felix. He's taken Mount's place. He's a quality player that has already settled and built connection with Kai Enzo. Hitting the bar 3-4 times. It could have been 4 goals, but then, yeah, that's a solid argument with regards to us keeping Felix. You should not have. I don't think that's okay. You can't say he's overrated right now. He's been firing on all cylinders for 3 consecutive seasons, from the French league to the Italian league. until he falters, I don't think it's okay to argue that. But you have every right to argue that. Guys, we're winning this Champions League because we have 2 World Cup winners in our team. But how it will happen, it's going to be a shocking to all of us. Henry, did you hear that at church or in the mosque? I want to know. 9 games left. That's 27 points. We just need 20 points from that to get to top 6. I don't want top 6. If it's not going to be top 4, forget it. I don't want the Europa League or Europa Conference League assignment, if that makes sense. Martin, we don't need Mount and we don't need Felix. We buy 16 new players. Kachila, if you don't mind, can you summarize where we landed with a target formation? The target formation and system. Did we say Potter will finally get us to 4 at the back? Are we? Here's the thing. That's an interesting contribution right there. An irony to say. Let me say. That's the irony of the whole thing. Under Thomas Tuchel, the biggest argument, the biggest call from the fan base was that we should switch. We should switch to a back 4. That our biggest problem was playing with a back 3. I know that that argument started when we had Reece James. We had Reece James and who out. I think we had Reece James and Ben Chilwell out. But even after that, people still called for us. People still called for us to play with a back 4. And now all of a sudden, the same people are calling for us to play with the back 3. So I'm really not sure how to answer this question. Can you summarize where we landed? Here's the thing. He had to, because people said the argument started emerging that we're playing Reece James and Ben Chilwell as fullbacks, whereas they do better for us offensively as wingbacks. And I don't know if the man listened or if the man just thought maybe that's what we need to do. And he did it in 3 consecutive games. It worked. And in the 4th one, it nearly worked. So I'm not sure where I stand with that, but I think it creates a lot of problem. We signed a lot of traditional wingers. What are we going to do with them? I remember my bro and friend and fellow American arguing, we just play them as forwards or maybe inside forwards and all that. But I think it's a problem if he's going to be playing predominantly with a back 3 and we have traditional wing backs. So you can't say really, is he going to drop James and start playing Noni Madueke on one of the wingers in the wing back position? I'm not sure that's going to happen. I'm not sure what he's going to do with that or vice versa. But I get where you're coming from. Potter wants modern, unpredictable football, not stick with one formation, but stabilize the team first. Do you trust them to score and create more than Felix and Mount? No, we need both Mount and Felix. You could argue that he misses experience with his pick up. Let's see, they are quality and have settled. New players or current wingers may not settle well. It's an issue there. April is pretty brutal schedule for Chelsea. Yep, I get it. It will definitely show Potter in or Potter out. I doubt that. We've been saying this is if he loses this one, he will lose his job. If he loses the other one, he will lose his job, and it hasn't happened. So I'm not sure what's going to happen. The league table is a liar. How can we have the same amount of losses as Spurs, and they are in the fourth place? Probably too many draws, and they have more wins, and we are in 10th. Make that make sense. So we have probably too many draws. Yeah, draws are killing us. Yep, I get it. That's a good contribution right there. Nkunku is hybrid of Mbappe and Felix. He's a fine player, and I think he will go a long way for us. The news Chelsea can sign Haaland is fake. Fake news, cannot see it anywhere. I think his thing, it's going to be, we have something to sort out first. We do have to balance the books. That's important. I'm not sure how we're going to be able to do that. So we're going back to the lineup building exercise. We started with a 3 at the back approach. Liverpool Cowell on the left center back position to be the rotational player with Badiashile. Essentially, the 2 most experienced players there. Silva and Koulibaly rotates for the right center back position. Kepa keeps his place. As long as we haven't just changed the goalkeeper, I think he keeps his place. And the argument is that if we get to summer, if we get to summer, if we see the summer transfer window and we start seeing the new players, then we can come back to this lineup, make sensible adjustment. But right now, we're working with what we have, if that makes sense to you. To be honest, our squad is currently set up for us to do with back three or back four. Yep, we can mix it up, depending on the competition and opposition. I just doubt whether Potter can deliver this. I hope he can. I just want my club to do well. But good point there. We're well equipped. We have wingers, which means if we go to a back four, then Tuchel can play as a left back, and Reece James can play as a right back. And that's especially true once Melo Gusto joins us, if that makes sense. So thank you for that. We have so many. I missed that from the Prince there. Let me see what you have. As I hear the news that Bayern want to sign a TT, I know that probably people will link many of our players to Bayern. Yep, just for the sake of it. But Chelsea owners need to try and do something because it seems we're not in the right track. Right now, we're not. But you can say in the Champions League, we still have a chance. We have so many draws because all our strikers want to play behind a 9. Screw Tuchel, we have Potter. That's another way to say it. We move on. But that's, by the way, thank you so much for saying that. And watch the language you use, because you're another mod, I think, using the word screw. Nightbot, well, he will time you out. So for the left center back position, left wing back position, we have Chilwell rotating with Cucurella. In the right center back position, we have James rotating with Melo Gusto. Essentially, we have Enzo rotating with Kovacic. Where's the pairing? The pairing is where we stopped yesterday, which, like I said, we don't just throw in players there. We don't just throw in players there. We don't just throw in players. We analyze the situation and see what player suits better. So we decided not to add add Denis Zakaria to the conversation, because chances are it's looking, from what we've heard, Chelsea are not going to keep him. But the question is who pairs Enzo Fernandez? So if you're in the chat, I am interested in seeing your contribution, given the players we have. I know we're linked to so many good other DMs or some good players who can be more defensively minded and allow Enzo Fernandez the independence to be more adventurous, as he's a fine creator. He can also get goals. So, but I want to get your thought. Who do you think in the current sport will make a good pairing with Enzo Fernandez, and why do you think that player will be the perfect pairing for Enzo Fernandez? So I'm waiting for you. You shoot for it. I can't wait to see your contributions in the chat. Let's see. From Eugene, he says, breaking news, Man United sale is dead. Whoa, interesting. It'd be interesting to see what really happened. I'm not sure, but I really want to know. Thank you for that update, Eugene. I appreciate that. Pulisic on the left wing on your lineup, Sheet Kachila. Why, you might ask, he's from Pennsylvania. That's all the argument. And I'm from Pennsylvania too. And this cup specifically is the Hashi Cup. I lived, I think the first place I lived in the US was New Jersey, then Pennsylvania, but I don't live there. I wouldn't say I'm from Pennsylvania. If anything else, I'm from Jersey, because that's where I got my citizenship. But that's, by the way, we move on from that. But I get your argument. There's a chance he stays, but we need a solid argument. I'm waiting for your argument for the second number 6 here. Who pairs in goal? Kante. Kante most likely is going to be one of the 2 6s. If that, at least that's what we believe Graham Potter would do. But who rotates with him? We have Andreas Santos. That's most likely he'll be part of the preseason and probably will be part of the squad come next season. The club tried all they can to keep him, worked very hard to get him a work permit. It didn't work out, and now he's played for the Brazilian national team, and I think that increases his chances of getting the work permit. But you let me know who pairs a Kovacic or Enzo Fernandez and why. But we get to this. But I get what you're saying, Panda. Big up to you. Brighton Chiefs has received Caicedo, has reviewed Caicedo, can still leave in the summer. I think what they did, offering him a new contract, was just they probably have that conversation with him to ensure they get a sizable fee from his sale in the summer. Do I think Chelsea will still sign him? I don't think no. He's a midfielder, and I think we have a lot of players there already. I want him. If we can sign him, I'd take him. But I don't think Chelsea will spend that much money, anything north of £17 million, and then still do the same in the attacking area, because chances are Chelsea are serious about signing Osimhen. As much as I think I wouldn't take him at Chelsea on the ground pot, if that makes sense. If we have Mourinho as our manager, I'd say bring him in. Bobby, looks like you have something to say.
Yeah, I was going to say it looks very much like Brighton have really priced Caicedo out of the market because there's no longer the desperation for him. As soon as Chelsea signed Enzo, it was always no longer looking for the man. It's the search for another.
So you think it was either it was never going to be both. It was going to be either of the two.
Oh, it would have been both if it's possible. But who's going to spend that sort of money? 100 million on one and nearly 100 million again on another.
And where we still have potential such as Andreas Santos and other players, and Golo Kante is still available, and other players. They go ahead.
Plus, there are others in the market as well. So, Caicedo, excellent player he is. His skill set are not as specialized and as rare as Enzo's. So there are several Caicedos you can get very much on the cheap. But the Enzo deal had to be done because there are very few players like him. So I don't know. I think Caicedo seems unlikely. You can never tell with the club.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seems unlikely given the price tag. And for the fact Arsenal went in with 70 million, they rejected it, and now he's extended his stay at the club. So I'm waiting. Eugene, pay attention to what I'm saying. If we haven't signed the player, if we don't have that player in our ranks, we're not going to consider that player. So talk about players we have right now. Like I said before, this is dynamic. In the summer or before the summer, if we're sensing the club is seriously looking at a certain player that fits in one, then we will look at the lineup again, if that makes sense. I like Kolo Muani too, but let's talk about players. Let's work with the players we have. So your thoughts, I'm waiting to get. Liverpool are ready to sign Zakaria if Chelsea don't sign him on a permanent basis. Let them take him. I'm not. Here's the thing. I've always known it would be difficult for Chelsea to buy him, given that he's injury prone. And at Liverpool, I think he's going to have a lot because they do a lot of pressing, and I think that will be a problem for him. If you're watching, people, we have 69 likes. Come on, let's boost more likes, people. Let's get it to 70, 80, 90, and 100 likes by the time the show ends. I saw Kante alongside Enzo, both hybrid players, and Kova's rotation with Kante because of Kante's age. Some argument there, but I think would be better off giving at least if Enzo isn't playing, I think Kova would be the most likely that will still provide something that's important to us progressing the ball. And Kova on his day, maybe he just needs he has improved. I think he's capable of creating clear-cut chances and gets in the box and gets us goal. But Kante, even if he operates as a hybrid 6 and 8, he still reads the game so well. He still be at the right time, at the right place to break up opposition play. So, but I like that contribution there. It makes sense. But since we have Enzo and Kova as the two rotational players there, who do you think should be rotating with Kante? That's the question we're asking now. And it'd be interesting to see your contribution. What is Osimhen's overall goal ratio? Because Italian football isn't like the Premier League where teams are sitting. I think what makes him unique is his ability to bully teams, but I'm still not advocating he comes to Chelsea. Except if our manager is what's his name? If our current manager is Jose Mourinho, I'd say bring Osimhen. But right now, I'd say no. It will not work. I'm telling you the truth. That's how I see it. But that's, by the way, I don't like the thing with lots of rotations. Not lots of rotations, it really. You can start, we have to rest players. If players don't rest, they can burn out. They're humans. For instance, by now, I think Enzo should have gotten a rest or two. That means that we miss more quality players like Enzo, Kante, Rich James. I understand where you're coming from. Kolo Muani can give us more than the same here. More quality players, Muani or nothing. I get your argument. We'll talk about Muani later when we talk about players we think the club should go for in the summer. Some people are questioning his finishing ability. I think I saw that from one of my friends on Twitter. But let's talk about who rotates with Kante. That's what I want to get from you. Kante is best pair. He's good. Okay, yeah. But who rotates? If Kante isn't playing, who pairs Enzo Fernandez? I get it. The Enzo Fernandez and the Kovacic pairing, they are excellent offensively. But defensively, I think we have a problem when two of them are the pairings there, if that makes sense. Here we have why throwing money on Casado and why not wait for better? How to expect to build an unbeatable team with throwing away money. I don't think we'd do that. I don't think the club would do that, really. I would get James Ward-Prowse. They will probably get relegated, and he will give a solid experienced player we need. The question I asked here, please, let's keep the comments aligned. Who do you pair with Enzo Fernandez? I really do want to know. Kante is good everywhere except in the final third. Enzo must stay every game. 10 rating. No, do you want the same thing that happened to Kante to happen to him? He gets a rest every now and then. I understand your argument that I don't think we should do that. Kachila, you're always quoting Kante and Kovacic. Both aren't reliable injury-wise. That's why, okay, then who rotates? Let's get there. Who rotates with who? Let's do that. That's what we have. We have to work with what we have right now. Given what we have, can you do otherwise than they're better? You tell me. So it's like ROC. So it's ROC. So what are midfielders are you dependent on if Enzo goes down? That's the question. That's why we need to get me your argument. Who rotates with N'Golo Kante to pay Enzo? If N'Golo Kante isn't the one to pay Enzo, who pays Enzo? If he's injured or if he's being rested, that's the question I'm asking you. Putting Kante and Kovacic both and reliable injury-wise, I've seen that. Did I read this one? I think, we're talking the same thing. Porter's failure in Chelsea has turned every Chelsea fan into tactical coach. Yeah, exactly. Depending on if Enzo goes down. Oh my goodness! This is let's put Andre Santos there. I think that's not a bad shout, but for me, I'm waiting for you guys. You give me the options. I'm not well acquainted with his ability to read the game and break up opposition play. The most I've seen is that he's more of a box-to-box midfielder to me than the one to be more disciplined in such pairing. But give me your thoughts. I'm going to get your thoughts, what you think. Michael M., good suggestion, but I want to know more about him. I want to see him in more games. I want to see him play at Chelsea level before deciding this is where I think he fits in. But your thoughts, you guys can convince me that he should be the pairing up for N'Golo Kante. It's not about what I think, but what do you think? Who pairs him there? Let's see, Casado unlikely. Also, there was a stronger relation with Arsenal that led to him pushing for a move. His heart still with them in mind. I don't think his heart is still there. I think they were able to convince him to put pen to paper for a new contract. So when they sell him, they get a sizable fee. Enzo must start from the 90. Yeah, we get it. He must start. But who pairs Kante? We've established that. The greater guy there is Kovacic. But who pairs Enzo when Kante isn't playing? If you want to extend Kante's career, we have to expect he will be a bench player, not start every game. Yes, that's why it's called rotational. Yeah, or not run too much on the pitch. The only player to play with Enzo is Rice, but we don't have him yet. let's use players we have. Are we only discussing what we have, the players we have? Kante starts, but we need us to assign it. Yep, I get it. But who pairs him? Who pairs Kante? If, like I said, we'll always keep it dynamic here. If things change in the future, we come back and make adjustment to the lineup. We can get the same quality for under 40. Lots of players out there. They probably come for cheap. Coach, why does your team sheet diagram not have a place for who? For a manager? Just stop, please. Thank you, people, for 17 likes. So let's get it to 80, 90, and 100. Thank you so much for all the support. And we have the link, the membership link pinned there. If you want to become a member, it costs just $292.99. And if you don't have to, if you cannot afford it, you're still a valuable member of the community, even if you're not able to do that. Let's see what else we have here. Chelsea will surprise a lot of people when we sign Casado. Let's do that. I'll take it. And I remember you said when we signed him, no one believed that Chelsea was signing Enzo for $160 million. Yeah, but we've spent so much money in total right now that it's going to be difficult to sign Casado. That's where my argument is coming from. So enough of that. We're talking about who pairs Kante now. Any other topic anywhere, I'm going to stop reading that. Andres Santos on bench and easy to and isn't him? Is him in gradually into the team? I think there's an argument that makes sense. So to me, Chelsea losing Zakaria would be again a big mistake. His Asian material are too much politics in selection. I wouldn't say politics. His fitness hasn't helped, plus how Graham Potter plays, which is really a concern to me. Do I want us to keep him? I want us to keep him, but it's looking more like we're not going to keep him. But let's see. If we'll keep him, I'll take it. Ruben Loftus-Cheek or Conor Gallagher, I guess, we have to work with what we have, but we need to look into that position in the summer. I think we have to. If anything, I'd say Andreas Santos is a good shout. Ruben Loftus-Cheek, no, in that position. I'd rather him get a place in one of the 2-8s or in the right wing back position. I think he does well there. He's done an okay job as one of the 2-6s, but here's where the issue lies. He doesn't read the game well enough to be effective enough to protect the defense. And I'm going to explain something that I've tried to explain a zillion times. The 2-6s we've played with of late, the combination we've had there in Enzo Fernandez and Mykhailo Mudryk, they are so efficient offensively. But defensively, they haven't done well enough, which was why you'd see Thiago Silva or Koulibaly moving up to this area, practically operating as 6s to help break up opposition play, because the two guys we have there, they're excellent offensively, but they're not the best defensively, if that makes sense. Same thing as Fofana. You see him here, even on the left-hand side. All these places are trying to break up opposition play. That's a risk, if that makes sense. So we need somebody who's good at reading the game and being at the right place at the right time to break up opposition play. You get that from Kante. I'm not too sure whether you get that from Andres Santos. As much as I know he's an excellent player, I need to watch him even more. Maybe I need to watch that Brazil friendly and see where he played for them. I haven't watched it. I don't know if I recorded that one, but I can somehow find it online and watch it and see. But maybe if we need a poll, I'm going to put up a poll. Andres Santos is one of the options here. I think a shout for Gallagher maybe, because Graham Potter have tried him there. But of late, he didn't really try him there. But we'll give it a shout and see whether people will pick him. Casado is overrated. I wouldn't want him starting in front of Enzo. Kante or Kova, I would also say Zakaria. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to keep him. Santos' skill would translate to Premier League. I hope so. I like him. He's an excellent player. And I hope to do a video with my friend Jessica Frota if she has time, because she knows him very well, knows all the Brazilian players very well. If we had a good coach like Mourinho, Chalobah, I can be coached to perform in the defensive midfield role that was there. He started from. That was where he started from. Mourinho can convert any player to a DM. Carney would be best to back up Kante with this. No, Carney doesn't differ that much from Enzo, really, or Kovacic. It will still be lacking, again, the defense will still be lacking proper protection. Carney, for me, is more of an 8 than he is a 6, if that makes sense. If anything, maybe the Kovacic role, a hybrid of 8 and 6, that's I could say maybe try him out there, if that makes sense. Coach, please do the honor of putting Zakaria in there. He's here right now, as you say, is the criteria. But we haven't signed him on a permanent. But I will maybe I'm not just going to put him. Maybe I need to put up a vote, if that makes sense. If you're watching, people, if you haven't taken a second, drop a like on the stream, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I guess for now, put Gallagher or Mount. Can you believe Koulibaly is earning 290 a week? 175 is fair enough for him. That's too much. I wouldn't say too much. He's a good player. I think people are just picking on him for what has happened. Let's see. RC and Gallagher ain't good enough. Bobby, if you have anything to add for that number 6 role, I'm waiting for you. Yeah, Zakaria staying fit till the end of the season and beyond should solve this, but if only. Yeah, he hasn't. I think he's gotten injured like 3 times now since he joined us. Caicedo and overrated, bro. He is the missing jigsaw in a defensive midfield role. But are we going to spend that much money? That's where the question lies. Caicedo is a fine player, but the question is how much are we willing to spend to get him, especially now that Brighton has extended his contract at the club. Coach is a massive KK fan. Yeah, I am. Tell him. Plus, I'm being objective when I speak of him. He will agree with 290K. Yeah, every player can do a better job than Gallagher. Some argument there. Coach, we're primarily playing Tuchel ball right now, and TT played also. Where Rudiger and Aspie were bombing forward to stop a transition with Kante box to box. Yep, Kachila, if you look at the squad, we have only 1-6 at the moment, and that is Zakaria. The rest are 8. Yep. You could argue that Kante traditionally is actually an 8, but he's played that deep and operates more like a 6, really, if that makes sense. But better on the ball. Yeah, I agree with you. Just having a conversation with Chalobah at Lille and Reese at Wigan had played as a DM, but he hasn't played there for a while. So I wouldn't, suggest we play any player as a makeshift. I'd rather we play specialized players. And now I think we have the luxury to play specialized players rather than daily dial with selection. It could be problematic. Can Chalobah play DM? I would say no. I'd rather James, because he's capable of doing that and probably wouldn't do a lot of running in that area. I'd prefer Rice. Rice is a good shout, not bad at all. A lot of people want him at Chelsea. If the club sign him, I'll take him. But he's not my first choice in terms of the DM. Enzo should be rotated. Yep, that's the rotation for Enzo right now. That's the most likely rotation that would make sense. Would be probably Enzo or maybe who again there again Ruben. I'd rather we play again if we're gonna add Ruben Loftus-Cheek as one of the 2 6s here. I'd rather him be the one with the independence to be more adventurous, support the attack because he's good on the ball, can drive with the ball, and also he's a fine creator. But I don't think he's had the independence. He's been allowed to do that. Probably has been played as just a sit there, try to to match the opposition of physicality for physicality and all that, and has not been given that independence to express himself as he would want to because he's a fine player. Conversation with them. Are we sleeping on Lavia? Ugarte is 1 to die for 2. We're not talking about players. We're trying to work with what we have. And then if in the summer we're making moves and we're serious about signing a particular player, we come back and make changes to the lineup. It's dynamic. That's what we operate here, if that makes sense. Chelsea all the way, but we know Caicedo, and he is overrated. If saying overrated is your opinion, in my opinion, he's not overrated. But I get it. You having a conversation there. Most fans when was Enzo? Especially if West Ham United gets relegated, he will be a lot cheaper. And but the truth remains, we will not be the only club vying for his signature. There will be other clubs who would want to take him. If you're watching, if you haven't taken a second, drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Rodrigo, big up to you, brother. You haven't, you weren't part of this exercise when we started. But looking at the selection we've made here, this is just a 3-4-3. The plan is also to also do 4-2-3-1 and throughout and also 4-3-3. Try out other structures. That will keep us busy until the international break ends. But your thoughts on the selection so far? Would you have done anything differently?
No, that makes sense. Obviously, I think you're still talking about who's gonna compete with Kante, right?
Yeah. Who does that? Do you know Andrew Santos that well to say he's capable of doing that?
Well, as a youngster, yeah. Are we talking about players that we've signed or players
we have now? The players we have. Santos, and in the case of Andrea Santos, if you paid attention, the club really wanted to keep him. And the reason I believe he didn't join Palmeiras was that the club wanted to take him at the end of the season, so he's part of our preseason. But Palmeiras want him to stay beyond that. Mm-hmm. So I think the club really want to keep him. They like him, and and he's a big boy, really.
Yes,
but you go ahead. If you know him that well, I need to hear you.
Yes, I agree with you. I'll put Santos as like the understudy to Kante. Yeah, because he's actually quite good, actually, Santos. The only thing when I watch, I don't know, is that those are under 20 games, but when I watch them, he seems to be like he doesn't really know. His positional awareness wasn't really that great. But again, you can coach that into a youngster, isn't it?
Do you think that can improve if he joins us?
Obviously, in the first few games, you might notice that, but as he grows into the role with world-class players around him, world-class player, really good players around him, he will improve. I can see it. He's a very good player. Andrew Santos is good. He's good. He's a future of. Let me not jinx him, but I think he's the future of Brazil in that DM position. And you can mold him into anything. He can be a box-to-box DM. Box-to-box DM, box-to-box midfielder, or you can actually train him to be like a sitting six. So he's in that. The sky's the limit with this kid.
So you think he can be this guy? Okay.
Yes.
I think. I think.
Loftus-Cheek, that he has to go. Gallagher, depending on the money that we get, has to go. So yeah, I think that's.
I still think Loftus-Cheek could stay, but it'd be difficult to get him to sign a new contract since he has just a year left on his contract. Let's see what the club does, because he's been effective for us whenever he gets a chance to play in the right wing back row. But we're gonna have Gusto there. If anything, the only place there's a space for Loftus-Cheek right now, at least in my opinion, and I believe you think the same. He's actually traditionally an 8. He's only one of the best 8s we have. But unfortunately for him, no manager has actually given him a chance to play in that position, if that makes sense. Let's see what we have here. RLC can do the Enzo job very well. Unfortunately, Porter ain't real like that. I don't think he can do the Enzo job.
He can't do the Enzo job, man. No one
cannot.
No one in this Chelsea squad can do what Enzo does.
Yeah, and as much as I like Ruben Loftus-Cheek, I think he's done well in the right wing back role offensively. He's also done. I think the best place that unfortunately he hasn't given the opportunity to play there is the 8 position, number 8 position, which is traditionally. I think that's a role he can fulfill quite well. When I said we should sign Bruno Guimaraes, you lots said not good enough. Farmers League, there we go. I'm not one of those that said it's not good enough. So if you know names of those that said Bruno Guimaraes isn't good enough, go ahead and name them. We need somebody like Mykhailo, the ultimate sub, to say we call it a day, folks. See you next match. Yeah, we need something like that. Unfortunately, these days, we don't have such players that will be that professional. But it can happen. We don't know. Hello, Coach. We will talk. Are we talking about next season? Yep, next season squad. Then I will put Andres Santos as Kante's backup. Not backup. We don't use that language. Rotational player. Probably he's going to play lots of games. Given the fact that Kante will not be playing too many games, given his younger, perhaps there could be other positions he can do better. I think it has to be deep from deep, no matter where you put him there. Willie Blessed, nice to see you. We haven't seen you in a while. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. 6 more likes to get it to 80. Let's try and get it to 100 likes as soon as possible, people. He is the future. He is their captain. Yep. I can quote 5 to 6 players I said we should sign. All were dismissed, and now Chelsea want them. Strange that. That's why we're here. That's why we have a show. Good conversation. We enjoy ourselves, if that makes sense. Let's. We have Chuck Norris. Do you mean Chuck Knuckle? Okay, nice to see you. Thank you so much there. I'm not gonna even say your name. It sounds like something to me. But that's, by the way, Joao Paulinha. Mykhailo says, excuse me, sorry guys. I know a lot of people are actually, falling for Paulinha. I need to watch him even more, but I don't think he's going to come cheap either. I don't know how much it's worth. And Rodrigo, what do you think about people calling for us to sign him?
Yeah, it's been good this season, but for me, the player that won is Manuel Ugarte.
Can you talk more about him?
From Sporting, he's a DM. He's actually very good as a sitting single DM. He's a Uruguayan international.
If we decide to switch things up and we need a sitting DM,
he can do that, and he can also play in a double pivot. He has very good defensive numbers. He's someone that will allow Enzo to do what Enzo needs to do, but the only thing, obviously, he's a bit hot-headed. Like he gets a lot of bookings, but that's just the nature of his game, isn't it?
But that you can say the same about the best DMs we've ever seen.
Exactly, yeah, that's what they are. It's the nature of the job, isn't it?
Yeah.
For me, personally is him, and then my only thing with Lavia is injury record. We have already so many injury-prone players. We were having this tough conversation in the summer last season regarding Fofana. So maybe sometimes when you look at someone's injury record, that can also be an element where you're like, is he really the person that we need to sign? So that's when I'm looking at Lavia. That's the only thing that really is really bad.
He's had a few too.
It was out for like 2 months or 2-3 months just with a hamstring injury. So I'm a bit like, and he's 19. So I'd rather have someone like Ugarte, who's I think he's 21, and he's a very, very good player, like really, really good player.
Santos is explosive. Also, he will be real deal. I think how were we able to actually get him over Real Madrid and other teams that want him, I honestly don't know.
For £12 million.
Yeah, for £12 million, I don't know. So yeah, I like him. Explosive from midfield. I think he let him go there. Think of Ugarte. Eugene, you have a question for you. You answer, and I'd be interested to see what you say from my bro Rahayu. Just a conversation from them. So are we going to act like Enzo's form hasn't been underwhelming since his arrival? I wouldn't say underwhelming.
No way.
No, I wouldn't go to the extent of saying underwhelming. Has it been perfect? No. We've seen, and a few issues we've seen. Go ahead, Rodrigo.
Sorry, what was he expecting? Goals every weekend? What was he expecting?
And he's created a few some excellent chances for us, really.
Exactly.
And that's from a deep position. No, I wouldn't go to the extent of saying underwhelming. He's not perfect, but not underwhelming. I think he's been one of our best players, actually. Santos is pure passion and aggression, so he fits that role, Rodrigo. So the proper Chelsea passion, Martins will absolutely love him next season. Tiba Salifa, good contribution right there. Big up to the analyst, Rodrigo. I don't like this. Every time Rodrigo comes up, you just forget about Coachella.
Yes, fair.
What is this?
Top analyst.
I don't like you, Bobby. I don't like you anymore, really. But that's I'm just kidding. Much love, much love. And Premier League proven that no, it's no guarantee. We've been there before, but it gives you some measure of you can say confidence that it's going to work out. The adaptation time shortens with that person have played in the Premier League. I'm good coach. It's been some time since I've been in the stream. I'm actually a student, so kind of busy in school. I'm glad all is well here. Oh, thank you. Your education should come first. Being part of the conversation is not a priority. That should be secondary. It's not an obligation. But much love to you. Please, do not take your education lightly. Keep staying in school, brother. Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Gallagher would be good for depth. I think they're staying. I know we can add. I wish we were able to add like 4 players per, but this we could do that. I never watch Ugarte. Okay, I like your factuality there. Good day, everyone. Good day to you too, Supreme Court. I hope you're doing well. Making on Enzo form just resumed. Okay. It must be Rodrigo's degree in statistics. Maybe. Maybe. And Bobby always likes to make me jealous here. Let's see. So Bobby, Rodrigo is here now. Bring your questions if you want him to answer any question. Just like GB's degree in emotional intelligence gets the favors without ownership. Yeah, but this time Rodrigo gets favor from Bobby. Go ahead, Rodrigo.
That degree only works on Boli, innit? That degree only it doesn't seem to motivate our players to win games.
Oh my. Rodrigo Ugarte is a good DM. So, excuse me, sorry guys. So is Pauline Hart. I just don't want a classic DM. I think you like the way Potter his combination in the midfield, but we have a problem there. I'm glad you're enjoying yourself. I want more benefits from players. Coach, what will happen when you start discussing top 3? We have something like yeah, imagine we couldn't go far with this here. Imagine when we get there. It's going to be difficult. And Rodrigo, I don't know if you've had the argument why we got into argument as to why it's important we mix it up. I know Kovacic and Enzo Fernandez, they are excellent offensively, but they've not been doing well in terms of protecting the defense. You can argue, have they been doing their job? Koulibaly won't find himself in such situation he did the last time in terms of the one he was flawed. That's why you see Koulibaly, Silva moving up to this area to break up play. That's because the 2 sixes are practically non-existent defensively. I don't know if Potter is the one that asked them to play like that because none of them, they don't read the game so well. Go ahead.
One thing I've noticed is not necessarily, is that I think it's the aggression goes, it goes like decreases after 60 minutes. Like for example, I saw Kovacic and Enzo pressing in the first half and early on in the second half. But after a point in the game, I saw they became so lethargic. I saw Kovacic walking around, Enzo, because obviously he's a one-man press. He can't do anything. So I don't know if his intensity seems to be dropping off. This maybe it's a fitness issue. They don't seem to be going the whole game. So this is where
when you say that, you said they tire out like in the 60th minute, right?
Yeah.
When you say that's down to the fact that they don't press intelligently, they just run too much.
Yes, yeah.
We don't press as a unit.
That could be one thing. They exert too much energy pressing. Pressing like headless chicken. Yeah, because
the truth remains the reason. Again, you can say because of the way they play and when they tire out, they used to see too much pressure on our defense. Because then the midfield becomes non-existent in terms of pressing or stopping the opposition play. We only get to stop the opposition from playing when they get to our defense, or we stop them on the flanks. But essentially, we're not able to do anything there.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
I think it's too late when it's too late when your midfielders are running back and the opposition attacker facing your centre backs. It's already too late at that moment. obviously you're gonna concede a shot on target or off target, but you're gonna concede a chance. We need to stop that from happening. And
Yeah.
I think like the combination of Enzo and Kovacic is they're good on the ball, but off the ball sometimes they can be caught like lacking of ball watching.
Yeah. Willie Blessy said, why is not anyone talking about Mason Mount playing in central midfield? He has been good when he played there. When you say central mid, can you be more specific? Let me know what you're talking about. I really do want to know. Enzo, Kante, Kova, Carney, and one more for next season. We're talking about the players we have right now. We can make adjustments if anything changes. Can Mount be converted into a DM? No. I don't want him playing anywhere deep here. He gets confused. If anything, an 8 is where he's good. Or a 10, he can do well in a 10 position. Mount is gone. I think most likely, but there's still a chance he stays. Let's see what happens. I saw somebody saying that Mount will last Potter at Chelsea. I don't know how truthful that is, but we're not talking about Mount right now. Mykhailo started as a 10, but was converted into a 6. JC. Mount only had one good game in midfield. I don't know. The rest was quite awful. Every time I've seen him play anything close to deep here, he seemed a bit confused. But that's by the way. Let me go to Declan. Declan, big up to you, bro. How are you doing?
Big up, everyone. I'm doing great.
Always nice to see you. I hope your sound is okay. It sounded a bit like it's drinking water. Can you speak again?
Oh, is it stuffing up again?
Yeah, it's still acting like your sound microphone is drinking water.
Stuff down the settings. I thought I fixed it.
Yeah. So try find a solution. Maybe go out, come back in. I want to get your thoughts. If Jose Mourinho is here, he will do his a converting magic on Mason Mount to a DM. Okay, maybe can Mason Mount actually guide the ball very well? I think that's the prerequisite for Mourinho wanting you to be a DM. You need to be able to guide the ball very well. Whether you have 2-3 players on you, you still be able to come out on top. Question for Rodrigo: if Chelsea persist with a back three, how many wingers do you think we need? And if otherwise, how many in the back four? Rodrigo, do you understand that question? You go ahead, shoot for it. Oh, Rodrigo, are you there? Okay, if you're in the chat, please do let me know you can hear me. I asked the question.
What's the question?
The question is, it says, okay, you can go. Yeah, you're back. We have you available now. You can come in.
Oh, okay. Sorry, back as well.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
No, I was just trying to help Rodrigo. So if he's here, you can
you're
answer.
still busy. Okay.
No, I can. How many wingers do you think we need? And if otherwise, how many? In a back three, we don't need that. We don't need.
We actually don't need any, right?
Yeah, we don't. We don't actually. This is why it's confusing. It's confusing me the way we've built this squad with the players that we signed, especially Madueke and Mudryk. I don't even know what. Again, I know this back three is just is for now. Potter needed something to get a result going, and I really hope that long term, with the players that we have and the players that we intend to sign in the summer, we will go back to a back four. Because the back four, listen, we're a team that have a lot of like potentially good attackers, so we can't stop the development by keeping up with this back three.
So
I think we'll go back to a back four. And how many wingers you need in a back four? You need about 4 wingers.
Two for each of the flanks.
2 for each side. Yes, yeah. You can.
The question is, Rodrigo, do you think at any time we see a situation where Graham Potter start playing wingers in the wing back position? I think we may well see that, but it's not going to be easy because we have specialists. We have two.
Exactly.
We have actually 2 specialists on each side for the wing back row. We have Cucurella. He can play there. He can actually put good again. If he starts showing good form, he's capable of putting good crosses into the box and all that, and he can find good passes. Chilwell, and we have what's his name, the French international Malo Gusto, and we also have English international Rhys James. So it becomes difficult. So
I think that will be the downfall of Potter eventually, because it will get to a point where the board have signed all these attacking players on long-term contract, and if these attacking players are not getting game time, because you can't really all fit all the attacking players in this 3-4-3, it will get to a point where the board will start looking elsewhere, because I think one of the things they wanted to see is a back four, and having, because maybe in their mind a back four with more attacking players, you see more attacking football. This is just an assumption, right? I'm not saying this is what they're thinking, but you can see by the players that they went on to sign. So if Poster carries on like this, right now he can justify to Bowley, say, listen, I'm halfway through the season. This formation will help me get through this difficult period, and then in the summer, if you give me a pre-season, I'll be able to work on a back four and integrating these attacking players. I think he can buy himself time till then. But if he carries on like this, say, imagine next season, Mudryk, Madueke, or Sterling, or whoever, they're not getting enough game time, and we're not in good form. I think that's where he will be in trouble.
Yeah, because it can cause toxicity within the squad, and we don't want that.
Yeah, especially if we sign Felix and Nkunku is coming, and we sign a striker. Where do you fit all these players in?
Here's where this is a problem. Some people will suggest if we're playing like a 3-4-2-1 structure, you can play Mudryk here as one of the 2-8s, right? But because he's played predominantly on the flanks, we've seen that problem under Thomas Tuchel. He will be drifting wide, and then his role will be all overlapping with the role of the wing back, and we have a problem. And I think go ahead.
You have to invert Chilwell.
So it becomes a problem. I don't think it's that simple, really. But let's see how he does that. And like Josh suggested the other day, he was in the chat. Maybe play them as a forward. That's another solution. But let's see what happens. Declared is the new Chelsea groundsman. Oh, okay. And how you spell his name? I'm guessing you're talking about another person.
I'll fix that, Ground. Is my mic fixed up?
No, I know you can, but look how he spelled your name. Is that you?
Declared.
He's talking about declaration. I know your name is comprised of 2 words, declaration of war, but this is declaring.
No, I'm declaring myself as the new groundsman. Is that all right?
I'll take that. But that's by the way. So Declared, Bobby, I don't know if you want to come in. You said you just want to help Rodrigo before I bring in Declared, because you haven't spoken for a while. Your thoughts on the 2-6s here? What we suggestions are a lot of people in the chat agree. Rodrigo agree that Santos may well be the rotational player with N'Golo Kante. Your thoughts and anything else you want to talk about here?
Yeah, I just tried to talk them for Rodrigo because he didn't seem he was around, and it was a question directed at him, and when he was around, I backed off. So, I mean, clearly we still haven't, unfortunately, seen Andreas Santos, and I hate dealing with speculation because at the moment we're assuming he's going to do this, he's going to do that. I mean, it's highly likely he's proven himself where he can prove himself, but where it matters will be with Chelsea. So yes, he will be potentially rotational if he proves himself to be good enough. That's the acid test.
Yeah, we have seen him, but we haven't seen him in the Premier League, and that's a good question. But let's wait and see him. But given people, I think, suggest that he'll be the one there, he looks like the real deal. Maybe he gets a chance there, but let's just have him there. But I get where you're coming from, Bobby. Hey Siri, when will get sacked? I'll ask him. I use Google rather, but I just ask that for fun and see what it tells me. But that's, by the way, my target 11. Kepa between the sticks, Chilwell, Badiashile, Koulibaly, Fofana, James Kante, Enzo, Mount, Havertz, and Nkunku, 3-4. Okay, 1-2. We should not plan to play anyone out of their natural position. With that structure, if you're going to accommodate the wingers, you'd have to play some of them out of position, if that makes sense. Rodrigo, judging by the last game, which we finished at 3-6-1, or 3-7. Don't you think our players' purchases make sense? Well, Rodrigo, I don't know if you want to respond to that. But that's why the back three is more effective for Regimes and Chilwell. But we can't just because of two players and then our other players they're practically done. Or maybe we'll have to readapt. But in their case, I think they can actually play as fullbacks and still be effective. I think here's the reason. The call for the back three is that we're struggling to find the back of the net. So they think the more we have them be more offensively, in an offensive structure, I think they do more. They'd help us solve that problem, if that makes sense. We need more clinical forwards, not proper nines. I don't like a classic number nines. If Mr. Porter 4-4-3 really understood what's going on, he could have sacked him after if with Mr. 4-4-3 there, if after the Southampton game. That's how Ball spells it. Okay. Mudryk for our third left wing back and a third left wing if Felix stays. That may well happen. I wouldn't be shocked to see Porter playing wingers in the wing back position. He did that at Brighton. Why are we trying to fit Mudryk into a wing back formation? We haven't actually mentioned his name here. If we go into a new season with a plan to have players out of position, then we have made a zero progress. Okay, we've made a lot of signing. We should be able to switch it up, like you mentioned yourself. Honestly, I don't see how either Mudryk or Madueke fit in Felix if Felix stays, and we continue with a back three setup. Nkunku still coming in as we want as a striker too. Nkunku, I wouldn't call him a striker really. These risks of poor planning. Okay, let's see. It's called planning, not speculation. Let's be real, Coach. Porter changed it to back three to save his job, but he played that predominantly at Brighton. So it's actually his preferred position, but it makes sense to switch to back three because he'd have more offensive power, given that Rhys James and Ben Chilwell will add to the attack. Coach, you must mark a place for the manager in this diagram. Well, I didn't design that, but that's by the way. So, Declan, you can come in. Your thoughts on the players who selected so far?
I'm sorry to be very unprofessional, and I've come in late. I have no idea what you're doing. So I understand it's an international break. There's no upcoming game, so I'm trying to figure out what this lineup is actually for.
For Nagelsmann.
Is that thing called football?
Oh, for Nagelsmann. Well, Nagelsmann doesn't play free in the back, does he?
My goodness.
So you got to change it up, Coach. For Nagelsmann, Nagelsmann's coming in, and how Nagelsmann's want to play. So let's move on to that.
I don't think it's coming. I don't think anything changes from a managerial perspective until the end of the season.
I'll tell you something. Yeah, Nagelsmann is what Bowley wanted originally. And he ended up.
Are you
Potter.
serious?
Yes, because what Bowley has a hard on for, right? And maybe the fans don't like it because it doesn't scream titles.
Do you see the answer on the screen for you?
Sorry.
See answer on
it's
the
for
screen.
content.
You asked a question.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
No, I asked what it was. I didn't ask why. I didn't question why we're doing it.
You can bring the Nagelsmann conversation. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, Bowley wants to bring Chelsea global. That's the biggest that's the highest priority at the moment. The thing that he saw in Potter was Potter's ability to get a whole bunch of younger players from all around the world at Brighton and actually get something out of them. And he put a team together that was overachieving according to everyone, right? And plus the media hype on top of that, which made Bowley think he was lucky to get Potter. But that goes to show how much he lacked the game. He didn't get Potter for his title winning. He got Potter for his ability to get something out of young players. Our transfers have all been aimed at younger players, right? So that's the direction we're going in. Nagelsmann comes from the Red Bull system. Nagelsmann got the Bayern job for doing that so great. Nagelsmann is still really young.
That's a big point, I'm hearing you, Declared. I'm hearing
In other
you.
words,
Because
the
I had a
speak.
very sort of blank mind about Nagelsmann, whether we'd even care to look at him. But you're making some points. Interesting. So,
Go ahead, Declare. So
Yeah,
he's saying
there is. You got to understand there is similarities from what Bowley wanted from Potter and what Nagelsmann has actually achieved. I think if Nagelsmann was available, I think that he would have been a bigger target, or he would have been a high priority for Bowley to get at the time. Plus, Nagelsmann's name was with Tuchel's as well, so he could have been at the club too. I think there hasn't been a clear manager. Like, let's say, for example, if Klopp was just sitting there, then the decision might be made for the club or for the owners. I think the fact that, how some people go, oh, who we're going to get, and it's a harder question to just get anyone. But Nagelsmann ticks boxes for Bowley more than he does for us. That's why I believe that I think there's something more to it. I think there's something more for Bowley to really get, because he wants the Red Bull system. This guy is probably the best manager under that type of club.
Part of it.
Yeah, I'll tell you something that I know personally, right? To give you an idea, it's not on the Red Bull one, but it's the Man City one, right? And it's local for me, because when they do these, when they branch out and they buy these clubs, so they bought a club down here, right? Where I'm from, Melbourne, in Australia, and it was and the league was kind of made new with a French, like bit of a MLS type system, and which made it easier for Man City to buy a club, right? Now, Man City sent Pep came down here, right? The people they put here, they straight away invested in the academy, so that club has the best academy in Australia, right? Whole bunch of young kids. But we are playing in the style of Man City, in Pep's style. That's what the influences had. And everything that has, and everyone sees Melbourne City, just like the MLS one, as a pathway to other clubs, right? This is what Bowley wants, right? And also it's a style that goes across all the clubs, right? We are now playing how Pep would very similar his play style. We hired a manager for that too, right? And we've been through 3 managers and they've all stuck to the same style. And it's gone through the youth level all the way to the top. And Red Bull does this as well with every club. And that's why when you see, even when Bobby went set that hierarchy of the structure of the hierarchy, you can see that Vival is like more Chelsea global than actually the club. And so you just like Nagelsmann was and the other managers, right? They're going to see a system, like see a fundamental culture style throughout. That's what Bowley wants. Now I'm sure that Bowley's seen enough to say, I don't think Pollard is going to be that guy that's going to spread his, style and lead us forward and all that stuff, right? Nagelsmann is more that person than ever. In everyone else's eyes, Nagelsmann doesn't look like a success. Do you know what I mean? Nagelsmann looked like he did it at a lower club and failed at Bayern Munich, which I don't get how. I don't even know why he got the sack. He only had 3 losses after.
I think he fell out. He fell out with the club, with the hierarchy.
That's why it doesn't make sense that it has to be some kind of backroom thing. That's what makes sense. Or maybe because they're second and the
also,
standards are so high.
And also Bayern, maybe they panic. They had that FOMO. You have that in investment, fear of missing out. Sometimes you just buy stock just because you think it's gonna go up. So they invested in Tuchel because they know Tuchel is probably gonna go to Madrid. Spurs were asking questions around, and they had Tuchel in mind for maybe 5 years. So they just thought, right, we need to get Tuchel now. before we lose him.
That's what I was going to say, because besides Tuchel, right? Let's say Nagelsmann failed this season, got knocked out, they finished second. Bayern looked like that as a failed season. And let's say Tuchel was already picked up. It doesn't leave Bayern with a lot of options. So what Rodriguez said is what I was alluding to, that they jumped the gun quick, which is what might happen to us with Nagelsmann. Tottenham's going to be sniffing around. There's going to be more clubs sniffing around.
So if we really need him, we should snap him up.
I think that for a long time our club has been talking, right? If I assume they are, because if there has been no crisis meetings, and like Potter joked about it, and if they haven't even entertained the idea of a life without Potter, right? Then this hierarchy is truly deluded on some kind of hope. That I heard that back in their baseball club, they the manager they had didn't do well in the first season, and then he did really well. If they just go off patterns like everyone talks about Arsenal and stuff, then yeah, we're in for a ride of superstitions, patterns of that don't make sense, nothing realism. We're gonna, we're gonna dilute owner.
Yeah, thank you, Declan. Again, I think we have to do a show on Nagelsmann. I think it's important we do, but let's watch the situation.
So can you tell me what the lineup was for again?
For Chelsea manager, we're just picking based on the players we have. Let me just say that I know where you're going with that. We will start the season with 4 qualified wing backs. If Potter is caught with Mudryk or Madueke in those positions, it's more yes man tax. Wow, let's see. Academy would be good, but first team, I doubt Dodgers have one trophy. I told again, DJ, big up to you, brother. Sorry, I was in a hurry because we have just a few more minutes, like about 4 minutes to round up. Actually, we'll continue with the lineup exercise tomorrow, and then we'll talk more about Nagelsmann. And hopefully, Declan will have time. He seems to be well acquainted with the situation. In total agreement with Declan, Nagelsmann will be ideal now for your phone helping you spell there. Will be ideal now for Chelsea, especially with the young squad we are building. It makes sense. It's big up to Declan. Good to see you here. Declan, that's just saying hello to you. Sorry, were you saying something, Rodrigo?
Yeah, because idol. Yeah, it could be. You're just standing there doing nothing.
Yeah, it could be that one as well. Coach, I am making a very big banner for the Real Madrid home game and was hoping you could help me with the text. So far, I have Graham Potter. You just go away. Listen, you're not going to be the one to make me go to hell. I don't like you. You know that. I don't like you one bit. We have
the beautiful game. It should be no hard food game, but you're an idiot.
Imagine we got Nagelsmann and then we met Bayern with Tuchel and that would be some game. Big up everyone. I think Nagelsmann is really the ideal man. I think of Vivell will push for him. He knows him very well, so there's a chance he pushes for him. DJ, this is Bobby saying hello to you too. Let's see what else we have here. Saying hello to Bobby. Your thoughts on Nagelsmann? I think he's spoken, and I think he has a slight change of mind after the Declan spoke. Let's see what we have here. Why would we hire another manager that hasn't won anything to be more like Leipzig instead of Brighton? The man couldn't even keep the lead in a one-team league. Wow. Okay. Get me Mbappe for 200 million instead of throwing money on Sommer or Simham and Felix. And Felix on the Nagelsmann, I think we will have better chance in the Champions League of winning it. Okay, TT only signed until 2025 with Bayern. And that's a good way to go.
That's normal.
And that's normal if it works out. Usually, you don't give managers 5 years. 103 goals in 37 games. Nagelsmann without world-class striker, so we don't need proper number 9. Just more. We need to be more clinical. Even if we need a number 9, we need to start putting away the chances we got. Rich, I'm going. If you support anybody again and you don't say Coach Rich, I will ban you. That's just some magic. Sorry, Rodrigo, were you saying something?
I was about to say Nagelsmann is another manager that when you look back in his, has he ever used a striker? He didn't like Lewandowski. They had a fallout. He's another
Lewandowski is he? Would you say Lewandowski is your stereotypical striker?
Yeah, but I didn't like him even.
Nagelsmann didn't like him, right?
Yeah, Nagelsmann used Werner as a second striker and used was it Poulsen? Poulsen, main striker. He played with Nagelsmann. I think played that season as more of a 4-4-2. Quite almost forgot how they played, but yeah, it was a very.
I look at his structure.
It was like but it didn't play out like a 4-4-2. It looked like on when you set it up like this, the setup looked like a 4-4-2, but they had very high wingers.
Doesn't he play 4-2-3-1?
Bayern, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what he did, but we're gonna see. We'll talk more about Nagelsmann tomorrow. I'm gonna give an OG here a chance to speak. Anything you want to talk about, IBZ, so we can call it a day. We'll continue tomorrow. Obviously, I'm late. I have to be the one to take the boys to school today. So, OG, your thoughts. IBZ, your thoughts if you're there.
No, man, I have no thoughts. Just big up, guys. You know what I mean? Happy.
Is that what I sounded like?
You know what I mean? I don't have any thoughts.
Yeah.
I think it has to do with him having a cough or so. I don't think it's his sound. Go ahead, IBZ.
I think it's like when you walk through the door and you just there must be like a raining or something. You catch that first wave of water.
It doesn't sound clear, but go ahead, IBZ.
Try the back door. I came through the back door, IBZ. I think there's no water there.
Let's go.
He walks if you go into the back door. Go ahead, IBZ. So we can call
there seemed to be a lake at the front.
We don't have any more time.
I don't have any thoughts, honestly. I don't have any thoughts. I just come to just say hello, man. It's been a while, innit? So I just thought I'd just pop in. Say, well, go on and big up everyone. Happy Fridays, all these things, lessons and all that. You know, happy Juma. You know, shout out to all my people fasting.
Yeah, happy Juma indeed to all my Muslim friends.
You get me, everybody.
And brothers.
Peace and love. That's all I wanted to just say today. I don't have anything to do with nothing. All reports I'm seeing about Tuchel, yeah, big up Tuchel, man. Yeah, man. You needed that move. You've got a big club now. Go back at it. Yeah, man. That's it. I don't have any opinion on Nagelsmann. I don't know him. I don't know.
All right. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate that. JC says, it would take another 3 hours because we don't just plug in our players. We debate it real good. And that will keep us busy until after the international break. So I want to say thank you to everybody that's found the time to join the show. And thank you to IBZ. Thank you to the beautiful game Potter out before London turns red and Europe turns sky blue. Without these lineup exercise, this channel will be out of context. Live.
So, Coach, you know what they're calling you? They're calling you a lineup merchant.
Who's calling me that?
You're a lineup merchant.
That's what he's saying indirectly. But we got to be doing something. We have to stay busy. But I want to say thank you to everyone, Bobby Fairview, to all the panelists. Declare for finding time to join. Declare, I hope you make it tomorrow. We're going to talk more about Nagelsmann. Thank you.
Yeah, I apologize for coming late. I was watching John Wick 4.
It's no obligation. People work and bills do pay themselves.
No, I was actually enjoying myself. So, yeah.
So thank you to everyone. Thank you to Supreme Court, Rahayu, the beautiful game, Bobby Fairview, Hushford, who else is in the chat? Chelsea all the way. That's Tunechi. Everyone else, declared himself is all on the panel. I've said hello to him. Supreme Court, my bro DJ Soft, Bobby Smokey Signal. Everyone else, if I miss your name, apologies. I'm only human. See you guys next time. God bless us all, and bye.
Big up, everyone.